you've been hearing people talk about virtual assistants and you're wondering, what does a virtual assistant really do? What skills do I need to start? How do I even start? And how can I actually make money from this? Then you're in the right place. This career path can give you freedom, flexibility, and the opportunity to work with clients from all over the world. Now, this is not just a video, this is a guided course with practical steps. And in this course, I'm going to break down everything step by step in a way that it is easy to understand as someone that is just starting out. So, and by the end of this course, you'll be able to understand what a virtual assistant is all about, the services that you can offer as a virtual assistant, the skills that you need, where and how you can find clients or get a job, and also how you can confidently start your journey as a virtual assistant. Now, if you're the type that is scared of starting, don't worry. Just know that you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have experience for this. You don't need to have everything figured out. As long as you're willing to learn, you'll be just fine. So just follow along with me, apply what you learn, and practice where necessary. Also, I want you to know that this course doesn't just stop at videos. It actually comes with a full virtual assistant toolkit. So you're not just learning, you're also getting the resources that you need to practice, to pitch, and to work as a virtual assistant. I'll explain what is inside the toolkit as we go, but if you're curious about it already, the link is in the description, right? So you can just go there and check it. All right, now let's start from the foundation, because before you think about tools, money, or clients, you need to clearly understand one thing, which is, who is a virtual assistant? So first of all, who exactly is a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant, also called a VA, is someone who works remotely and helps businesses, busy individuals, entrepreneurs, or executives to handle tasks that take up their time. So instead of them hiring someone to just sit in the office every day, businesses now hire virtual assistants online from anywhere in the world, and that could be you, right? So this means that you can work from Nigeria and support clients from the UK, the US, Canada, or anywhere else. And this doesn't mean that you need to have years of experience. Many virtual assistants start by learning simple tasks and then they grow gradually. You understand? So don't be scared to start at all. If you're watching this video, it means that you already have an interest in starting. So just keep at it and you realize that it is not as hard as it looks, guys. Okay, now let's talk about what a virtual assistant actually does, because this is where a lot of people get, confused. So as a VA, your main job is to take tasks off your client's plates so they can focus on growing their business. So these are tasks that business owners do not want to do themselves, and by having you do them, they can focus on other major aspects of their businesses that brings in more revenue. So you're not just helping them save time, you're also helping them to save more money. So yes, they are employing you or hiring you to make their lives easier in terms of you handling repetitive tasks that are time consuming. So tasks like managing their emails. So email management is a process of organizing, monitoring, responding to, and maintaining a client's inbox, so they don't have to deal with the daily overwhelm that comes with managing their email. So as a virtual assistant, your job is to make sure emails are sorted, handled, and acted on efficiently. You understand? So in simple terms, what you're doing is, number one, filtering and organizing their emails, which includes sorting emails into labels or folders. So this is a quick example. So let's say your client is an HR manager and they receive emails from several job boards, and they also receive emails from the particular company that they themselves are working for. So what you're going to do as if you're managing their email is to put these emails into filters, into labels rather. You filter them into labels so that their inbox is not too messy and your client doesn't end up, or your employer doesn't end up feeling overwhelmed, and also so that it's be easy for them to quickly find information whenever they go to their inbox. So you filter them, you put them you filter them, and then you put them in a label. So for the job board, you understand, you can just label them as let's say LinkedIn jobs. You understand? So any job that comes from LinkedIn, right? Any email that comes from LinkedIn will go into that label, you understand, or folder, right? You can also label another one, maybe emails from we work remotely. You know, these job boards, they send what's it called, once you click on the notification, they keep notifying you whenever they include a new job into their website. So for it not to look overwhelming, because sometimes it can actually look overwhelming, you label them, right, for your clients, on behalf of your clients, and your clients can easily go there and check. Also, if they want to check emails from the company they are also working for personally, you label those emails, right? And I will, in this tutorial, I'll teach you how to label emails for your clients according to, you know, what your clients. So you just ask your clients, okay, how do you want me to label your emails? You understand? So yeah, still on email management, your client might ask you to, you know, delete spam messages or irrelevant emails, flagging important emails that needs your client's attention. This is very important. So if there's an email that your client is expecting, or that you already know that, okay, this is an important email, you flag it and you get your client's attention so that your clients can attend to that email. You can also do inbox monitoring by regularly checking your client's inbox to make sure that no message is missed. You can also respond on behalf of your client, you know, by using approved templates or scripts that they've, you know, asked you to use. And you can also escalate emails that need your client's direct input. Remember, so you can't just, you know, just go ahead and just, you know, type anything and send. You need to carry your client along. You know, you need to use a particular script or template that has already been provided by your client. Or if your client asks you to provide a script, you provide it and send to them, and they have to approve it before you send out those emails. All right. Also, when you're sending out emails, you have to make sure it sounds professional, and also it has to sound like your client's tone. You understand? So you have to use your client's tone and brand voice. You understand? We also have following up. So you have to, you know, track unanswered emails and also send out polite follow-ups. When you're working with people, clients like UGC creators, for example, they will need you to do something we call email outreach, right? This is when you know, send out outreach emails. It could be for the sake of sales, partnership, collaborations. You know, this happens a lot when you're working with HR managers. So you have to use like a provided script or a script that you've drafted by yourself and you've given it to your clients or your employer to approve. So once they approve that script, you can now use it, you know, to send out emails to their leads. And also you need to track the responses that comes from these emails. So that's that about email management. The next task that your clients might want you to help them manage is scheduling meetings and organizing their calendar. So for a busy person, they might need you to, you know, help them schedule their meetings. So just go on places like Google Calendar or maybe Zoom or Google Meet, and you can, you know, go right there and, you know, schedule a meeting, you know, and sync it with their calendar, right? As we move forward in this video, I'll show you how to schedule a meeting using Google Calendar, right? Another task that you might come across is data entry tasks, whereby you need to input data into places like Google Spreadsheet or Microsoft Excel. So you need to, you know, be someone that pays a lot of attention to details, because you cannot, you know, make mistakes and all of these things. But this is, you're working virtually, you're working as a virtual assistant, so you do not need to worry too much. You can just, you know, scan the documents, or you copy and paste it on your Google Spreadsheet or your you know, Excel, right? So you just, you know, scan, copy, and also check for any mistakes that anything that you might have missed. But yeah, you have to also, even if you're doing it virtually, or you can copy and paste, or you can scan, you still need to be able to pay attention to details to make sure that you are doing the right thing, and also that you are delivering a neat job. We are going to be looking at a tutorial based on this later in this video. Now, another task that your clients may need you to handle is doing research, right? So your clients might come and say, I need you to help me do a research on the best hotels in Abuja. So if you're doing this kind of research, you don't just go online, you don't just go to Google or chat GPT and be like, I need you to help me list out the best hotels in Abuja. You don't just do that and just copy and just send it to your clients, the Google document. No, you have to do a proper research in a way that when you give your clients that when you give your clients what you've done, they don't need to ask you for too many questions, because all of the details that they need, that is required for them to actually visit the best hotel in Abuja, will be in that document, will be in that research that you're giving to them. So what I mean by doing a deep research is you have to give them let's say the top 5 best best hotels in Abuja, and then you list them according to how they are ranked, right? And then you also include their specs, their specification, what are they known for, you understand? And you also take note of your client's preference. So if you feel like, if you know that your client wants this particular quality to be in one of those hotels, you use that to, to rate those hotels. So even if the best hotels doesn't have one of your clients' preference, you have to put it there. So let's say the first 5, the best one, number 1 doesn't have your client's preference, but number 2 has it, you include it there, right? So you list out the best 5, you include their preference, and then highlight the one that has your client's preference, and also include their locations, right? One after the other, include their locations. You also include a contact person that your clients can contact when, if he or she wants to actually book, book a room from that hotel, you understand? And also you can include their special meals, the meals that they offer, and any other thing that will be beneficial to your clients, you understand? So all of these things. And if your client is not familiar with that location, you also include a guide on how to actually get to that location. If you give your client that kind of research, at the end of the day, your clients know that yes, you know your stuff, you are that kind of virtual assistant that he or she would like to retain. So please, I beg you, when you are doing your research, don't just go to the, also if you're writing like an article, maybe your client comes to you and be like, and they're like, write an article on how election is being carried out in Nigeria, for an example. You don't just go on Google and just drop the topic there, and then Google of course will give you like some result. You don't just go and just copy the first result it gives you. No, I always tell my students, try to check like the first 3 or 5 results, open them up, read, you understand? And before you even carry out a research, you have to have a personal understanding of what that topic is all about. And if you do not have an understanding of it at all, go online and read about it. Read the first 3 or the first 5 if you can. If you feel like it is too long for you to read, you can skim through. Yes, you're reading, but you're not taking so much time, you're not dwelling on what you're reading, you understand? So you read and you understand what the topic's all about if you don't have an understanding of it already. If you have an understanding of it already, you would just write, you understand? Just write. Or let your clients give you, let me use a simple topic, why Gen Zs are not reading anymore, why Gen Zs don't enjoy reading, they enjoy watching videos. Now you personally should have an opinion on that topic, you understand? And you can be like, okay, you can just carry your pen and your paper or your notepad, and you just type what you feel about that topic, you understand? Oh, this is why Gen Zs are no longer that interested in reading, right? They prefer videos. This is what you think, you understand? Then you now go online and then type it out and then see what Google gives you, you understand? So you read the first article, if you read the second one, you read the third one, you read the fourth one, the fifth one if possible, and then you have like so you combine all of these opinions together and then you use it to form more opinions on this particular topic, you understand? Now if you need to add more, you can also add like so that is like an article, so you can add like pictures, to explain what you mean. You break it down, you put title, headings, and all of these things. You go in depth to show even examples, maybe of somebody talking on a video online, you understand? So you copy the link of the video or you embed it in the article right there, so that your client can actually see you're giving him or her the full package of your research, you understand? Your clients will know that you've gone in depth into this research, you've put yourself in it, you understand? And you yourself, you have a clear understanding of what you are being told to research about. So that is how you go about doing a research for your clients or your employer as a virtual assistant. And if you do this, like I said earlier, your clients will want to keep you. So make sure you try your best to give your best at anything you are doing. The next one very quickly is customer support service, where you have to answer to customers maybe via DMs or via emails, and if you want to do this, you have to be someone that is patient and also polite. The next one is the tasks that you might come across: social media management, whereby your clients might need you to handle their social media channels. Maybe you have to we'll talk about this later in the video anyways. And then we have filing and documentation. So as we go deeper in this course, I will be showing you tools, templates, and processes that you need as a virtual assistant. And take note that I've also put all of these things together in one place, a virtual assistant toolkit. So if at any point you feel like, oh, this is a lot for me to handle, just know that there's something that can support you alongside this course. So just check the link in the description after this video for the toolkit. Now let's break down the services a virtual assistant offer one after the other. We have administrative support, and under that we have email management that I've explained earlier. Then we have calendar management. I also explained that earlier. We also have data entry. We have file management. So for file management, you need to ask your client some necessary questions in case they don't give you like the full-on details on how you should go about arranging these files. Since you're working virtually, your clients might share a Google Drive link with you, where you just need to pick the files and then put them into folders, right? So you ask them, what should I tag or what should I name this particular folder, and what date should I use in case they have not given you those informations. You need to ask them and then arrange them according to the dates, according to the names that have been given to you to use, right? So that's about file management, so that when your client needs you to get this file for them, you can easily just search and then get it for them, or they can easily do that by themselves because it has already been arranged. So let's say you have like your client has like pictures they use for their social media handles when they post, or maybe pictures that they use when they post on places like LinkedIn, so those pictures are for their social media, right? And they have other pictures they use for other things, so you help them to arrange them under pictures used for social media. So they'll give you like the title because they need to use a title that they would remember, you understand, because they use it more, and also a title that they can easily search for, right? So you ask them what you need to use to tag this folders, and then you tag it as such. So wherever that picture is going to be, when you are using Google Drive, you have like folder in it, and you have like inside that folder you can have another folder, you understand? So I'm going to show you what it looks like in this tutorial. So yeah, when you have like a folder and then another folder inside that folder, so let's say this folder is named social media contents, right? Now when you open that folder, you can name another one social media pictures, you understand? So all of the pictures that your clients need for their social media to be posting on their social media, right, will be in that particular folder, you understand? And also in that particular folder, because it's a social media content, right, that is the major name of the first folder. So inside that folder again, you can have like social media Instagram scripts, right? Instagram scripts, you understand, for maybe where you drop scripts based on your client's Instagram post, right? So what I'm just saying is that when you are doing file arrangements, it needs to make sense, you understand? Everything needs to be in the right place, and always make sure, do not assume, always make sure you ask your clients where things should be, how they want their things to be arranged, right? And also take note that this particular service, which is the admin support, is one of the easiest ways to start your journey as a virtual assistant. Another service is customer support, where you have to respond to emails or chats, you have to answer customer questions, you have to handle complaints politely. And take note that if you're a patient person or you're good with communication, then this is a great one that you can actually, this is a great service that you can actually offer. So like I explained earlier, let's say you're working with a client that has like a shop, an online store, you understand, and then you order something from your client, and then a customer orders something from your client, and maybe that product turned out bad, right? Maybe they order a dress and the dress came out, when they got the dress, it was already torn somewhere, and the client comes to you frustrated and angry. You as a customer support person needs to be patient. You need to be calm and also calm your customer, you understand? You do not want to do anything that would make that customer to come at your client's business in a bad way, you understand? Even if there may be a time where sometimes your client or your client's business might not actually be at fault, but the customer just has something to complain about. There are customers like that, you understand? But you as a customer support person, you have to be patient at all times. You have to have a way with words that you can use to, calm them down. Oh, I'm so sorry about so what would you like me to do for you? And you'd be like, okay, just give me a few minutes. Let me check back with my boss or with my manager or something, and I'll get back to you. I'm so sorry. You're apologizing, you're making them feel better, you understand, and then you check back with your clients or with your employer to know the next course of action. And do not leave a client on, just leave them. Don't forget a client, and go on with other things. You understand? It's a bad rep, you understand? So if you're a customer support person, you need to be patient and you also need to be kind. I also want you to take note of these services, because at some point in this course, I'll be sharing with you services that you can actually choose to start offering as a virtual assistant that will help you to get clients or jobs faster. So let's move to the next one, which is social media support. Under this, you can, we have scheduling posts, writing captions, responding to comments or DMs. You can also, you can also be creating content for your clients. That is all under social media management. So if you're someone that is creative, how you have a way with words, you can, you have a way of engaging with people. So if you are a social media manager, one thing you need to take note of, especially when you're just starting out, is that as a social media manager, you are representing your clients. You understand? So what I always tell people is, assume that you're your clients. You understand? So if a client comes to you and they want to hire you as your social media manager, you have to first study your client. You have to first study the client that you're about to work with. Check that social media page that they want you to handle. Check the way they've been handling it. Check the way they've been posting the captions that they've been writing. You understand? So a place like Instagram, you check the kind of post they put out. You will see some kind of, you would see some, how the post relates to each other. You understand? Check the way they write their captions, the kind of hashtag they use. You understand? The way they even space out their captions. Yes, check that as well. The way they write their story, their tone, their voice, their brand colors, the kind of fonts they use, all of these things. Even if your client does not give you the details when you start working with them, ask for these details. You understand? So that when you want to start, posting and engaging, how they engage with somebody, how they drop comments on other people's posts, what they write, what they type. You understand? You have to study all of these and then assume that you're your client, and then you start, taking up the tasks. Because when you start engaging for them, when you start posting for them, you don't want somebody to notice the difference. You understand? So that is why you have to do this, because yes, people want to hire you, they want to delegate this task to you because they cannot do it alone, but they don't want you to come and then handle their social media page, maybe their Instagram page, and it now looks totally different from what they've been doing before. It's going to make them to lose followers or to lose customers. You understand? So you have to make sure that you embody how your client does their thing when it comes to the social media page, and then you do that as well. And if you're confused in any way, you're not sure of, let's say you are responding to your client's tweet and you come across a tweet that you're not sure how to respond to, you can easily just message your client and and ask them, how would you like me to respond to this? And they'll let you know. Don't assume. For example, if you see a tweet and the person says, I like to read at night, and you personally, you actually like to read at night, and then you want to respond and say something like, oh, I also love reading at night. Do not base your response based on your preference. If you're not sure if your client likes to read at night, message them. Or if they are not available, just keep that message on hold. It's not going to go anywhere, right? And then when they're available, you message them. Are you someone that likes to read at night? I came across this tweet and I just felt like asking you first to be sure, are you someone that likes to read at night? You understand? And then they'll let you know. It is better than you typing I like to read at night and then they come on their tweet and they see those kind of comments and they're like, but I don't like to read at night. And even it could even be that they've responded to that person before, or that or you and or your client and that person has had a conversation prior to that time, and that person already knows that this person doesn't like to read at night. So when they see that tweet of yours, that comment of yours, they will know that this is not the person chatting. They'll be like, so it kind of spoils the authenticity of that of your client or your employer. So if you want to deliver as a good social media manager, you have to understand, you have to balance, you have to understand how to, speak the way your clients will speak. Use your clients or your employer's brand voice. You understand? Another tax you can offer is research and data tax, which we've explained earlier. If you're curious about finding information and you're fast about it, you can offer this as a service. We have other services, but these are the major ones that we'll be talking about for now. Later in this course, we'll be discussing about others when we talk about niches. But for now, let's address this particular question: who hires a virtual assistant? So basically, anyone who is busy or needs support can hire a virtual assistant. It could be a business owner, startup founders, online coaches, content creators, agencies, CEO and executive, or just somebody that's just busy and just need help managing their schedule or something. Now, here's another question you might be asking yourself: why should I become a virtual assistant? Why should I consider becoming a virtual assistant? Well, you should consider this because this era, almost everyone has a business or something that is keeping them busy, and they need somebody to help them out with some of those tasks. They cannot do it alone. Even I have a virtual assistant. See, as long as you can afford a virtual assistant, then you can actually get one. So most of these businesses need assistants, and that is why they hire you as a virtual assistant. So yes, there's a growing and hot market for it. And you might be worried about AI replacing you, but hey, don't be, because businesses still need humans to manage communications, make decisions, and handle real life situations. And one thing that can make you even more relevant is when you are someone that is reliable and very proactive, someone that is willing to learn and give your best to your job. Your client or employer will want to keep you even with the age of AI. So like I said earlier, if you put your best foot forward, if you give your best while you're handling their tasks, they see these things and they appreciate these things. AI cannot replace you. If you're that kind of person, your employer or your client will want to keep you as their virtual assistant for as long as they can, right? Now, I wouldn't be a good teacher if I don't talk about this. What clients or your employer look for in a virtual assistant, what your clients want to see in you as their virtual assistant. Your client wants to know that tasks will be done without constant reminders from them, and deadlines that they've given you will be met. Also, instructions will be followed correctly. See, your client does not want to, micromanage you. If they keep checking up on you every 5 minutes, they will start feeling like it's easier for them to just do the work by themselves. So your goal as a virtual assistant is to remove stress, not to add to it. Take note of that, please. Clients wants to know that when they assign a task to you, it will get done, not, oh, I forgot, my network was bad, I was busy. All of these excuses. Yes, life happens, yes, but consistency matters and you have to be professional. So if you won't be available, communicate early. I always tell people, if your client has given you a task to do, let's say they gave you around 8 a.m. or let's say they give you around 8 a.m., right? And you have maybe power issues, right? Communicate with them early. And before communicating, because you are someone that cares about your job a lot, try your best to find a solution, right? Go out there. If you need to use a power bank, if your laptop is down, you need to use like a power bank. You need to use your phone, or if your phone is down, you need to use a power bank, or you have somebody that you can easily get a power bank from. Try your best to come up with solutions and get your tasks done on time. Now, if you've tried your best and there's no way for you to actually finish up that task before the deadline that your client has given you, try your best to communicate. Don't even try your best, make sure you communicate with your client. And don't, if your deadline is by 5 p.m., don't start communicating from 4 p.m. or at that 5 p.m. No, that does not show that you're a professional. You have to communicate from around 12 because they're giving you the task since 8 a.m. You understand? So you have to communicate from around 12. So 8 a.m. to 12, you've tried everything that you can try, nothing is working, then you have to communicate from 12, you understand? Or even 11, right? At the point where you know that there's nothing you can do anymore, then you try. And when you even communicate to them and be like, I'm so sorry, I might not be able to meet up, with the task by 5 p.m., but I will try my best to make sure I have, these are the issues that I'm facing. I promise you it will happen again, right? I won't be able to meet up with a deadline by 5 p.m., but I'm going to make sure I work on it and get it to you by maybe by 8 p.m. or first thing the next morning. You understand? So if you communicate this way, it shows that you care about, you respect them, but it shows that you respect your client, and it also shows that you're a professional. You understand the gravity of you not doing your work properly, right? And you're also giving time to your client. You're also giving your client the grace for him or her to, get a job done by himself or by herself if it is actually something that is very, very urgent. You understand? So they can, or they can go for another option. Because if you communicate around 5, they're already waiting for you to drop the tax on their decks, right? They're already waiting for you to send, they're already waiting for you to send the tax that they're giving to you. They have relied on you that, the tax is handled, right? And when you come to them by 4 or by 5 and say, I had issues with power and I could not get it done, they're going to be like, they're going to feel really, really disappointed. But I already felt like you've done it. Why didn't you tell me on time? All of those things. And it has put, it's going to create some kind of, it's going to create, you don't want to be, you do not want someone to do that to you. So don't do it to your clients, especially your clients. Communicate. I know you might feel like, I don't want to say I have power issues. I have my client to feel like, it is worse. Trust me, it is worse when your client feels disappointed and sees you as an unprofessional person, right? So please try to communicate. And mind you, yes, I know life happens, but do not allow it to repeat itself again and again. It shows that you're not serious and you are not capable. So you want to present yourself as someone that is capable, like someone that can handle, pressure and tasks. You understand? So if you are in a place that you don't have power, try to move to a place that has power if you want to continue working as a virtual assistant, right? If there's any obstacle that is stopping you from doing your job, try to move the obstacle away so that you can give your best to your client. Yeah. Now let's talk about good communication skills. This one is very important. Clients value communication. Like I said earlier, they value it a lot. You don't need to start speaking big grammar, or you just need to be, clear, polite, and professional. Clients expect you to ask questions when you are confused. Don't assume. Never assume. Give updates when you're working on their tasks. Update them. If the task is going to, let's say you're given a task that is going to take you 2 days or even a whole day, you understand, update them, like let them know that you are doing that. Even if they say, okay, start this task by 8 a.m. and be done by, let's say, 6 p.m. I'm just giving an example, right? And depends on the time that you agree to work with this client or employer of yours, they want to know that you started this task. You understand? It's not proper for you to just go silent and be like, I don't need to send them a message until I'm done. The next message I'm supposed to send to them is, this is the task you've given me, this is the report, thank you very much for today. No, you can't just go silent all through from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. when you're supposed to relay that task to them. No, you have to, keep them updated so they know that, okay, this person is actually working on it. You understand? So they are not, because if you're just working, especially when you're just working with clients for the first time, they have that fear in them that, okay, because remember you're working virtually, that if I make the wrong decision to hire this person, they are choosing to believe that you can actually do your work, and they're actually depending on you. You understand? So you do not want to like Nigerians would say, fall their hand. You don't want to fall their hand. So please make sure that you give them updates while you are working on their tasks. And I'm not saying that you should bug them with too many messages. Be reasonable about it. Just be like, I'm still working on the tasks. I'll make sure that I get it done. I'll make sure that I send you the reports once I'm done by so time. You understand? So yeah. Now the next one is paying attention to details. When you're working on your client's job, make sure that you pay attention to details. See, take their work as if it is yours. Like, take it serious. You do not want anything to flop. You don't want anything to go wrong. You have to follow instructions exactly as they're giving you. Make sure that you format things properly. Make sure that you double check your work. You understand? I always tell people that work with me, or maybe my students, if I give you a task, right, and then you just come and you feel like you're done with the task, right, but maybe because you want to submit on time, or you want to be done with the task for the day, you just want to close for the day, and then you just come and just drop it just because you want to close for the day, and you don't go through it. You don't take your time to actually go through it and see if you've made any errors. Now, when a client gives you a task to do, you have to check, have I followed the instruction that my client gave me? You read the instruction that they sent to you, maybe via WhatsApp chat or whatever communication tool that you guys are using. You read the instruction and then check what you've done. Have I done the right thing? Have I followed through with what my client has given me? Right? And then when you read what you've done, check for errors. Let me use an example. Let's say they ask you to write an article. You understand? Check for errors, typo errors, spelling errors, punctuation errors. If you need to use tools like Grammarly, for an example, I'll put a link in the description to check to help you proofread your writing or your write-up. Check it, use it, and actually use it to proofread what you need to proofread, right? Before you now give this thing to your clients, the report to your clients, because you don't want to send a report to your client and your client is seeing mistakes that have been done. Okay, let's say your client asks you to search for pictures of some things online and you did not actually get it straight. You don't understand what your client has said. Maybe in your mind you felt like they wanted you to send links of pictures, but then they wanted you to actually send the image of the picture itself, right? And you spend 8 hours looking for these pictures and then you send links of the pictures at the end of the day. No updates whatsoever. You were confused. You were not sure, but you did not communicate. You understand? And then you come back after 8 hours and then you send your client the pictures and they're like, no, I wanted, you send your client the links rather, and they're like, no, I wanted the actual pictures. It feels like they wasted their time and you also have also wasted your time. So to avoid you, even as you're doing the task, to go back before that, don't just dwell on your mistakes. Don't just say, okay, I just want to pick this and then go ahead and just do this. And no, you have to calm yourself and put your mind in what you're doing. If your mind is not there, you're going to end up doing something else. You're going to end up giving your clients rubbish and you don't want that. So check the instruction your client has given you and follow it step by step. If you're confused in any parts, do you need me to send it as this or that, don't assume that, I don't think sending it as a picture makes sense. If you want to have an opinion about it, ask them if they approve of the opinion. I think it would be nice to have, do you think I should send it this particular way? Maybe like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You understand? So try your best to make sure that you pay attention to details so there are no errors, because some errors might actually be really costly and your clients will see you as an unprofessional person or as someone that doesn't take their business or their work seriously. And then, like I explained earlier, we have proactiveness. This is a big one actually. Clients love virtual assistants that don't just wait to be told everything. I'm not saying that you should go and just make decisions on your own. No, but there are some situations where you can be proactive. You understand? You can when you see a gap, you can offer help. You can just if you feel like your client keeps forgetting a particular thing that relates to the work that you are doing, you can actually be proactive by saying, okay, can I help you do this? Can I help you do this to make this thing better? You understand? It shows that you're in it, like your mind is there and you're concerned about the job you're doing and you're concerned about the fact that you want to successfully help these clients. You want to ease their stress. Remember, as a virtual assistant, you are helping your clients to ease their stress. You're not helping them to add to it. So yes, if you need to help them think sometimes, right? Without being too much, you don't want to be too much, you try your best to do that, right? It shows that you are a special virtual assistant, and that is what we are going after. Another skill that is nice to have is honesty and transparency. See, clients would rather you say, I don't know how to do this, but I'm willing to learn, than you pretend to know how to do the thing and then you mess it up. No one expects you to know everything, to know it all. So if you make a mistake, own up to it, apologize, and then look for a way to correct it. If you do not understand something, like I explained earlier, communicate to the client. Tell them, okay, I don't understand this. Could you explain a bit or something? If you're confused at any point in time, be honest, be transparent enough to tell them. You understand? They don't expect you. Yes, you should know your stuff, but if at any point in time maybe there is a particular tool that you do not know how to use before you started working with the clients, and they want you to use that particular tool, and they said it in a way that is a bit confusing. Remember, you're working with you aim to work with international clients, right? Or maybe you're working with an international employer, right? And they they give you some instructions that are a bit confusing, and they want you to use a particular tool that you've never used before. You have to let them know that you need them to explain more, and you also need to let them know that this is your first time using this tool on, and maybe you need some time to watch a video or something. But yes, when you are honest, and then you tell them this kind of things, you also need to be proactive. You also need to be responsible enough to go ahead and learn these things, right? You also need to take your time. Don't say, okay, because I don't know how to do it, I'm just going to chill, and hopefully they would ask me to use another tool. If they really want you to use that, if it's going to be if it's going to inconvenience them by them asking you to use another tool, and you know that it is going to be like that for them, then you have to learn how to use that tool, and you have to learn how to use it fast. So if you want to go into this journey of a virtual assistant, you have to be someone that is quick. You have to be a fast learner, right? You have to be fast thinking. This is not difficult. I don't want you to think that these are things that you cannot do. It is something that you can do. So just challenge yourself to be able to do it. And one thing about this journey is the more you do, the more you learn and the more you grow. So yes, with your first clients, I tell people that your first client is going to teach you a lot. The only thing that you can, one thing that you should have, or you should be willing to do, is that you should be ready and willing to learn. You understand? And every other thing is easy peasy. Another skill is your willingness to learn, just like I explained earlier. So you have to ask yourself, are you someone that is teachable? Are you open to feedback? Especially when you're just starting as a virtual assistant, your clients might need to correct you at some point in time. Are you someone that's open to feedback? Are you willing to improve? Because some clients already have system and tools that they use, and they expect you to learn their process and adapt to their workflow. You understand? So if you're somebody that is open to feedback, take notes. They're not going to disrespect you or anything like that, but you can they might give you some feedback or some corrections, or I prefer you do things this way, or oh, you made a mistake here, I think this is how you should have done it, right? So just if you're someone that is open to feedback, you can do that. And if you're not, you can learn how to be. Another thing is professionalism and boundaries. Clients want you to maintain a professional relationship with them. This means that you have to respect working hours. So the time they're giving you as your working hours, you have to respect it. You have to keep your client's information confidential. You can't share it with friends or families. Don't say, because oh, this is my family member, you now share their confidential information with them. No, please don't do that. Okay, remember that before you start working with your client, we talk about this later in the course, you have to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, contracts, right? So you cannot share their confidential information with your family members or your friends. And also, there's no need for you to share your personal issues with your clients. You also have to be respectful when you are communicating with your clients. You can be friendly, like I said, but you still need to maintain that professionalism, right? It helps your clients to be able to trust you with important tasks. You understand? Another skill is time management and organization. You have to be able to manage your time well. So let's say you're working with an international client, because you're working virtually, right? And if that's your first time with that client, they might need you to take down the time that you're working with them while you're working on their tasks. You understand? Because most of the time they pay you per hour, right? So they don't want to just waste their money paying you, and then let's say you're supposed to work for 3 hours and you actually did the work for just 1 hour. They need to know that they can trust you. That way they want to build, you can build trust with your clients, like that, especially when it's just the client is like a first time client. You can time yourself using some tools that I'll be talking about later in this course, and then that way you use what you've timed to bill your clients. So you say, okay, this is, you give your clients, you be transparent enough to share the report, of the time you've taken doing that task for your clients, and that is what you bill them for. You understand? So you need to know how to use all these time trackers, time management tools, project management tools, that which I'll be talking about later in this course. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking this is actually a lot, can I really do this? Yes, you can do this. Know that every virtual assistant started from zero. I started from zero as a virtual assistant. If you want to do this, you can only learn by practicing, making mistakes, and also improving as you go, right? So you don't need to have it all figured out. Like I said from the beginning of this video, you can learn by practicing. You have to practice, that is you applying what you've learned, and then you improve. You're going to make mistakes. You're definitely going to make mistakes, and then when you make mistakes, you improve. You learn from your mistakes, and then you improve as you go. Now let's talk about more skills that you need as a virtual assistant. So all of the ones that are explained earlier, the expectations of your client that I mentioned earlier, they are all skills that you need as a VA. But let me just add more. So we have organization skills. You need to know how to, you need to be someone that is organized. You need to have basic tech skills, you understand? So you need to know how to use some particular applications, and if you don't know how to use them, don't worry, I'll put you through some of them in this course. And you can always go on YouTube. It's free. All you need is your data. You can always go on YouTube and watch how to use these things, and easy peasy, you're going to learn how to use them, and you can also practice, and then before you know it, you'll be a master in it. We also have research skills, like I've explained earlier. So these are all skills that you can learn, so fear not, okay? Fear not. Next we're going to talk about virtual assistant niches, how to choose what to focus on. So if you're still watching, you're exactly where you need to be, so just keep flowing with me, okay? And please take a minute to subscribe. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please take a minute to subscribe, and also like and drop a comment, okay? Yeah, I'm waiting for you to subscribe and also drop a comment. Done? Okay. So first of all, what is a niche? A niche is simply the type of service that you choose to offer as a virtual assistant. And as a beginner, you do not need to know everything at once. You grow step by step into these things. So what I always tell my students is, when identifying your strengths, think about the tasks that you naturally enjoy to do, or you already know how to do, then match them to the listed virtual assistant services that we have. So under administrative and organizational services, we have typing fast, data entry, calendar management, scheduling meetings, online errands. You need to ask yourself, am I organized and detail oriented? Are you someone that is organized and detail oriented? Do you like handling structured tasks? You understand? So ask yourself that, and see if it's something that you like to do, then you can fit in yourself into that service. Now for the niches, the first one are the easiest niches for beginners, which are also high in demand, and you can easily start them. They require little knowledge, little tech knowledge, and they can also be easily learned. Like I said earlier, we have general administrative VAs. So as a virtual assistant, you could focus on being a general administrative virtual assistant. So that could be your niche. You understand? It is beginner friendly, and it's also very high in demand. Every business person needs an admin support person, right? And the tasks you'll be handling is email management, calendar scheduling, data entry, research, and all of those tasks that comes with admin stuff. The next one is the customer support virtual assistant. This is also beginner friendly and very high in demand, especially for small businesses and e-commerce businesses that need somebody to, help them manage their customers, right? You'll be doing things like emails or chat support, responding to inquiries, and all of those things. And I've explained all of this earlier. We also have social media management virtual assistant, right? So you could pick this as a niche. This is a beginner friendly and also very high in demand. If you're familiar with TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all of the social media channels, you can choose this. It's very high in demand because everybody wants to boost their social media presence. So this is a niche that you can actually choose to offer as a virtual assistant. We also have UGC virtual assistant, so you can be focused on offering your services to UGC creators, right? UGC is user generated content. So there are people that offer this, there are UGC creators out there that you can choose to focus on offering your services to. This is also kind of beginner friendly. It requires you to have basic content creation skills. You need to know how to use Canva, and you need to know how to use Canva on your phone, because you be creating content, a bit more frequently if you are a UGC virtual assistant. And take note that the demand for this particular one is actually rapidly growing because there's so many UGC creators out there. You'll be doing tasks like creating simple video content for a UGC creator, or maybe like a Canva post or something. You need to know how to use Canva if you're going to be a UGC virtual assistant, and you need to be good at creating content, right? You need to be a creative person because you'll be writing, you'll be coming up with content script and all of those things. Also take note, if you're offering your services as a UGC virtual assistant, you'll be doing, it's more like you'll be combining UGC virtual assistant and also a social media virtual assistant, because the tasks that you'll be offering to your UGC agency or your UGC creator is going to be, you're going to be doing tasks like you're not just going to be, most of the time you're not just going to be creating content for them or designing or editing videos on, you're not just going to be editing videos or creating posts using Canva. You're also going to be creating content. You might be tasked with creating scripts, writing out scripts for their promotional videos. I've had some UGC content creators that are UGC creators that I've worked with, and I needed to create scripts for them to use for their promotional videos, or you might need to go on their social media channels or pages and actually help them to engage with people, to drop comments on other people's posts, to come up with captions, and all of those things. So just take notes. It's something that you can actually do. It's something that you should actually think of doing if you're in a creative space, if you're someone that is creating, if you enjoy creating content and you know how to use Canva. You don't have to be a professional using Canva. You understand there are already templates there that you can actually use, and just try to check the style, check the way. So like I said earlier, if you want to be a social media manager, you have to understand your clients or your employers the way they post and everything. So check the way they post. Let's say you see their layout on their Instagram page, check their style, the way they post and everything, and try to replicate that in whatever they give you to do. There are templates on on Canva that you can use to make your graphic design experience easy. So you don't need to be a professional, right? You don't even need to be a professional in using Canva, right, for your designs. You just need to know how to use it, at least to medium level, you understand. So the most important thing when working with a UGC content creator is the fact that you should know how to create content. You yourself, you should be a creative person, you understand, and you should know how to write scripts. So yeah. Now for the medium level niches that require some learning curve, but they're also high in demand, they pay better, but they might require you to have some specific knowledge or know how to use some particular tools. We have content support virtual assistants, whereby you have to handle blogs, you have to do a lot of writing. It's beginner friendly, is somewhat beginner friendly, and it requires you to have writing and editing skills, where the tasks that you'll be doing is blog posting, proofreading, and light copywriting. So you might get a client that asks you, that would task you to handle their blog. You see all those blogs that people have out there where they post articles or maybe all these job boards, you understand. It's a lot, it can look overwhelming, so they always hire VAs to do all these things, to update it, right? Every day you go on there and then you update it. So yeah, if you're someone that and you're not just updating, you're also writing the scripts, you understand, they might need you to write the blogs and also update it. So if you're someone that is creative, you have the writing skills and you have editing skills as well, you know where to put the right headings, you know where to put the right sub headings and all of those things, then you can choose to go for this niche. We also have influencer virtual assistants. This is also kind of beginner friendly. It's good for people who already understand social media culture. So if you are good with social media culture, then you can do this. You can help in growing influencers that need, admin and content support. So you'll be doing tasks like managing brand collaborations, scheduling posts, outreach to brands, and managing DMs and also comments. We also have it's actually is similar to UGC virtual assistants, you understand? So the tasks are kind of similar, right? So we also have e-commerce virtual assistant. This one is very common and it's also kind of beginner friendly. Now you need to learn how to use some platforms like Shopify, Etsy, Amazon, this major ones. And it's actually really high in demand because there are a lot of store owners out there. So if you're doing tasks like product upload, order management, customer inquiries and reviews, and even a bit of customer support, right? When you decide to go for this particular niche, remember that it is high in demand and it is something that you can easily learn. So if you are somebody that has those that have those skills, you can choose to become an e-commerce virtual assistant. We have executive virtual assistant, which I'll be talking about more later on in this course. It is not so beginner friendly, but it's something that you grow into. It is also high in demand and you usually work with CEOs and startup founders. You understand? So you'll be handling high level scheduling, travel bookings, report prep, and all of those things. We also have specialized advanced niches, which would get you higher pay, but you need to have some particular skills and experience. We have real estate virtual assistants. The demand is high in countries like US, Canada, where realtors outsource, they do heavily outsourcing of tax. You handle things like property listing, scheduling, showings, and CRM updates. You understand? We also have tech and systems virtual assistants. For this one, you need to learn how to use some particular tools. The demand is also high. Businesses want tech savvy virtual assistants, especially people like tech founders. You understand? You need to be able to carry automation tasks, projects. You need to know how to use project management tools and some CRM, setup. We also have podcast and YouTube virtual assistant. For this one, you need to have some editing and uploading skills. You need to know how YouTube and podcast, you need to know how it works. You understand? The demand is there, because so many people have YouTube channels. So you'll be doing tasks like uploading videos, editing videos, editing scripts, for the podcast, doing some SEO research and all of those things. So you can see that the services they kind of relates with one another. You understand? So that is why it's arranged in this particular order. So just stick with me and I will tell you which one you should actually target as a beginner. Now for the specialized industry virtual assistants, which are the legal virtual assistant, medical virtual assistants, finance virtual assistant, coaching, and all of those ones. I'm sure you must have heard about medical virtual assistants. It's actually high in demand and you can, you need to have the experience. For example, if you're a medical virtual assistant, you need to have, some experience on some medical terms, you understand? But yeah, it is high in demand and you can get jobs working as a medical virtual assistant or a legal virtual assistants. Now let's talk about executive virtual assistants, which is under moderate level niches and requires some learning curve, but it's still high in demand. So an executive virtual assistant works closely with CEOs, founders, and top executives. Now, when should you become an executive VA? You can transition into executive VA after you gain enough experience and confidence and strong communication skills, because this role requires professionalism, trust, and maturity. Now, if you're just starting your journey as a virtual assistant, right, I do not advise you to start aiming for executive assistant jobs. You need to first build experience, right? You need to be confident in yourself that okay, I can manage this task, right? You need to be a professional, you understand? So I advise you to, gain experience by handling a lot of tasks. You understand? So offer your service as an admin assistant first before you say you want to transition into becoming an executive virtual assistant, because it requires so much more. There's a lot of professionalism going into it. You have to deal with a lot of confidential informations, and if you do not know how to deal with this stuff beforehand, you will not be able to successfully handle those kind of tasks. And you won't even be hired if maybe when you submit your CV or your portfolio. And as an executive virtual assistant, you need to submit not just your portfolio, you also need to submit your CV to get hired by that CEO or that founder that want to hire you. You understand? And if you submit your CV and they can see that you do not have any prior experience as a virtual admin, as an admin assistant, or 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 you've not even done any admin work at all, you will not be hired. You understand? Because you need to have an experience for this, right? So this is like higher level admin assistants, right? All right, let's move on. So let's look at what an executive virtual assistant, the kind of tasks that they do. So as an executive VA, you'll be doing things like managing calendars on a higher level, handling confidential information, like I said earlier, coordinating meetings, serious meetings, following up on important tasks, acting as the executive's right hand. You understand? So those executives that you're working with, you need to be acting as their right hand. You understand? Now I understand that all of this might sound like normal virtual assistant tasks, but the thing is you have to do them with care, with precision, and high attention to detail and professionalism. Now that being said, my advice for you based on my experience about niching is that at the beginning you do not need to rush to niche down. Learn the basics of different services first. Over time you now naturally see what you are good at. You understand? So if you're just starting out, start with the beginner friendly niches, right? Before you move to the moderate level niches, start with the beginner friendly niches. And even in that beginner friendly niches, you will see that all of them are kind of related to each other. You understand? So learn how to, you might say, okay, under the beginner friendly niches, I want to focus on offering my services as an admin assistant first only. You understand? And that might not be a good choice for you, because most of the time, if you look at what is high in demand, you will see mostly social media, people looking for social media managers, people looking for graphic designer, graphic design, people looking for video editors. All of this can be under beginner friendly niches. But you as a person, you might say, okay, I want to be an admin, I want to be offering my services as an admin assistant only. And it might not actually pay you, because your clients, or from my experience, let me say from my experience, except if you get a job that specifies administrative assistant. And when you even see the requirements, sometimes when you see the requirements of this job, you would see that you would need to do customer support. You would need to carry out customer support tasks. You would need to carry out some writing tasks. You understand? Or you are being hired as a social media manager and you will need to carry out some video editing tasks. You understand? So that is why, be open to learning, right? If you want to go into this journey, you have to be open to learning. So my advice for you, you see the beginner friendly niche is the first one. Just learn everything. Learn admin, learn customer support, learn UGC, the one under UGC, how to write, how to create content. And if you don't know how to, if you're not the kind of person that knows how to create content, that is also fine. You understand? You can focus on customer support, because the most of the jobs you see out there, social media management jobs, graphic admin, virtual admin assistant jobs, right? You see customer support jobs. Now if you are the type that doesn't know how to create content, don't worry, you can focus on customer support jobs, right? Admin and customer support jobs only. You can do that. You understand? But don't focus on only admin. I will not advise you to focus on only admin, except if you see a job post that they said, okay, admin assistant, right? And even if you're an admin assistant, still try your best to know how to be a customer support person. Yes, because those kind of tasks might come to your table and you can't say no to them, right? If you've taken the job. So just learn it. If you are an admin assistant, or if you're a customer support person, you will not be giving a social media management task to do. No, you will not be given editing tasks to do. You will not be tasked with creating social media content. You understand? That is not your job. But if you are just an admin person, let's say you are working with a client and you're an admin assistant, you might come across tasks that will require you to do social media management work, customer support work. You understand? So just try your best to, that's why I said try your best to learn it all. You understand? And like I said, you can specify. If you don't know how to create content, you're like, oh, I don't want to go on, I don't want anything social media management at all, I'm not good with creating content, I just want to focus on other things. Then you can focus on customer support and admin, or just customer support alone. You understand? But if you're good with creating content, then you can do social media management, you can do admin, you can do UGC, virtual assistant, right? And trust me, these are services that are really high in demand, right? I know I did not really talk about video editing and graphic design. These are also services that are really, really high in demand. So if you are, even as a social media person, sometimes you might be tasked to, do some video editing, some light video editing, some graphic designing using Canva. You don't need to be a professional. If you're offering your services as a graphic designer, and you're a professional graphic designer, then offer it alone as a graphic design, as don't put it under social media management. Offer it alone as a graphic designer. You understand? So if you are a video editor, you know how to edit video, you know how to really edit videos, not just on a UGC level. If you're working with a UGC creator, you need to still do some kind of video editing. But if you're a good video editor, there are levels to this thing, right? So if you're a professional video editor, you can offer it as a service alone. You understand? Then as time goes on and you've grown, you've gotten the experience. Those experience that you gain is what will help you to build confidence. The way you handled your first clients is not the way you handle your second client, and you learn a lot from your first client. In fact, you learn from every client that comes your way. You understand? So if you're willing to learn and grow, this is something that you can easily handle. Now, this is the practical aspect of this course, and in this section I'll be sharing my screen with you. And take note that you do not need to master all of the tools at once, right? I'm just introducing them to you so that you can know what is out there, and so you don't feel lost when your clients mention them, right? But you definitely need to learn the basics of those tools for now, at least. And if there is any tool that I have not spoken about here, you can go on YouTube to watch them, right? The first set of tools that I want to talk about is Google Workspace. This is one of the most important tools for virtual assistant because a lot of clients already use it, right? And I'm sure you also use it. So inside the Google Workspace, you have different apps and each one does specific things, right? We have Google Documents. So Google Documents is used for writing documents, right? Just like the name implies. You can also use it for writing proposals, reports, meeting notes, your CVs or your resume, and even your client instruction, right? We have Google Sheets, which is mostly for data entry, tracking information, making a list, of things. We have Google Slide, which is used for mostly presentations, especially for trainings or for clients meetings. So if you have like a presentation to present, you can use Google Slide to to present them. I'll be showing you this later on in the video. I'll be sharing my screen with you so you see what each of them actually looks like. We have Gmail, right, which is where you manage your emails. So as a virtual assistant, email management is one of the most common tasks that clients will give you, and I'm sure even now you have this application on your phone already, and you use it to create an email account, and that email account is what even allows you to use your other applications. The reason why you're watching this video right now is simply because you have created an email account, and that's why you could actually have an account on YouTube to be able to watch this video, so you understand. So we have Google Drive, which is for storing files, organizing folders, and sharing documents with clients. So Google Drive, you can save files, share files, and organize your folders, right? We also have Google Calendar, which is used for scheduling meetings, setting reminders, and also managing your time. If you're working as a virtual assistant, you'll probably be using Google Workspace almost every day. Me as a virtual assistant, I use Google Workspace every day, right? So the next one is Microsoft 365, which now has like an AI feature inside it, and that AI feature is called Copilot, right? So some clients prefer to use Google tools while others prefer Microsoft, so it's always good to be familiar with the both of them. So we have Microsoft Word, right, which is similar to Google Documents, right? So for Microsoft 360, we have Microsoft Word. You can see that they are similar, but for Google Workspace, we have Google Documents, right? They do the same thing, just that they have like different different founders. Is that right? So that's right. name to use. You get what I mean? So under Microsoft 365, we have a Microsoft Excel, which is similar to Google Sheets, also mainly for data entry tasks. We have PowerPoint, which is used for presentations, just like Google Slides. We also have Outlook, which is similar to Gmail, right? Outlook is used for email and calendar management, right? We also have OneDrive, which is similar to Google Drive, right? Where you store your files and you can also share them, right? So you don't need to be like an expert in using all of these tools. You just need to be comfortable in navigating them, right? So as long as you know how to use them on a basic level, you can start, pushing yourself out there and offering your services as a virtual assistant, right? So the next tool is Canva. Canva is a design tool, and no, you don't need to be a graphic designer to use it. As a virtual assistant, you can use Canva to create simple designs like social media posts, presentations, flyers, thumbnails, and basic branding materials. Most of the time, you'll be using templates, right? So you're not necessarily designing from scratch. So just relax, right? So if you know how to use it on a basic level, I also have a video that I dropped on my YouTube channel. So just check it out, how to use Canva for beginners. Just check it out and you see that it's actually easy to use. Keep trying to use the templates, and you will see that with time you will get better at using it. So now let's talk about project management tools. So these tools help clients. It helps you to organize your tasks, your projects, and your workflow. We have Trello. This is a very beginner friendly tool. It uses boards and cards to track tasks. Don't worry, we'll be talking about it. I'll be showing you later on in this course. We have Asana, which is a bit more structured and is used for tracking tasks across teams. We have Monday.com. I really love this one. It's more advanced, but usually it's by bigger teams to manage workflows. And you don't need to learn all of them at once. Once you understand one, the others become easier. That's one thing about these project management tools. As long as they are tagging one bucket, they're all project management tools. If you know how to use one, it will be easy for you to pick up the others. You understand? So you don't need to be overwhelmed. Just stick with me, okay? We also have time tracking tools. So some clients will require you to track your time, the time you spend on their tasks, especially if you are being paid hourly. And some of those tools are Clockify. They will help you track how much time you spend on your tasks. We also have Upstaff, which also tracks time, and some clients can use it to actually monitor your productivity. Take note that it's not every client that will require you to track your time, but it's always good to know that you can actually track your time. And even if your client doesn't require you to track your time, if you want to build your time management, your time management skills, then you can actually use it for your own self to see how much time you spend doing your client's work. So let's say you charge your client, okay, for this task you tell your client, for this task I'm going to take 3 hours. But in reality, when you do the task and you time yourself, you see that you've spent 4 hours, right? It will help you to understand better how much time you spend in a particular task and how you can actually charge. You understand? So you're not just, let's say you do the task for 5 hours and genuinely and honestly that task actually took 5 hours, like you were not playing, you understand, because it ended up becoming something bigger than what you thought it was going to be. So that time tracking tool will help you see how much time that you've spent doing that task and how you can charge better. You understand? So it's not just for your clients, it's also for you as a person. Then we have customer support CRM tools. So CRM means customer relationship management, and there are tools that you can use to manage your customers. You can use to manage leads, you can use to manage customer communication, right? And it is really good that you actually learn these tools, right? One of them is HubSpot CRM, which is a very popular and beginner friendly CRM tool. We also have Zoho CRM, right? That's another option that many businesses use. So if you are doing customer support or admin work, you might actually come across these tools, right? So just try your best to learn them, especially if you are going for if you're offering those kind of services, you understand. And there's a video on my YouTube channel that explains, in a beginner friendly manner, that explains how to use HubSpot CRM. And remember, like I said earlier, if you know how to use one, it will be easy for you to navigate the others, because they are all CRM tools, whether HubSpot CRM or Zoho CRM or Zendex, you understand. So just watch the video and then you would know. I'm not going to include a tutorial here because I already have a tutorial of it on my channel, so just check it out. So next are social media scheduling tools. So we have Zoho Social, right? We have Zoho Social helps you schedule and manage social media posts, so you can go on there and schedule your clients' social media content, whether it is going out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, where else, Pinterest. Zoho offers a lot of platform that you can actually schedule your post for your clients, on various platforms. We also have Buffer. That's another very simple and beginner friendly scheduling tool that you can use to schedule your post. We also have Plannable. This is often used by teams to plan and approve content before posting. So on Plannable, you can actually, I've used this one before for a client of mine, so she specified that she wanted me to use this particular tool. So if you're offering social media support, these are tools that you need, that are very important, that you need to learn, right? So your clients might come to you and be like, oh, just like my clients, I use Plannable, do you know how to use it? My advice, you can quickly go online and check one or two about it and be like, okay, and then you come back and be like, oh, I haven't used this before, but I can easily learn how to use it, and I don't mind if you pull me through. I'm a fast learner, you understand? You're being honest, but you're also giving them that assurance that you're confident that you're a fast learner, you understand, you can handle it, you understand? So yeah, there are so many tools out there. Mind you, there's so many tools out there, I spoke about just three social media scheduling tools, but there are more. There are so many others out there that you can use to schedule your social media content for yourself or for your clients, right? So your clients might come to you and mention any of those tools, and but if you know how to use one, like I said, you know how to use the others, right? So if you don't know how to use, just let them know, but quickly go online and check how to use it, and then you let them know, like I said earlier. And for the sake of you learning for yourself, you can also go online and just type on Google social media management tools, and it will give you a list of, if I give it, the best 20 out there or something. Just try your best to just go through them, and so that when your client mentions it, at least you're familiar with the name. Even if you have not used the application itself before, you are familiar with the name, you understand? So same thing goes with project management tools. All of these tools, there are so many others like that out there. So just go online and do your research so that you are aware, because I cannot cover everything. I cannot talk about all the tools out there in this course, right? I'm just going to focus on what you need to get started, right? Now we also have communication tools, because your clients will, communicate with you using some particular platforms, right? We have Slack, we have Zoom, we have Google Meet, which is under Google Workspace. Now you need to be comfortable using all of these tools. You don't need to be professional in them. As you go, you will learn, right? We also have some basic editing tools like CapCut, InShot, and VN. So if you want to edit videos and all of those things, you can use any of these tools. They are the most popular ones out there anyways. And lastly, we have tools that you can use to book, right? Or you can use to schedule a meeting or a call. We have Calendly and Google Calendar, right? Google Calendar is under Google Workspace, right? Now Calendly allows you or your client to book meetings with you without going back and forth, you understand? It is easy for you to to book a call, or to book a meeting with you and your clients. And take note that there are other scheduling tools out there, but I highly recommend Calendly. It is easy to use. You can, put in the details that you want, and it also gives you options to, optimize it to your own preference. So now that you've seen the tools that I've mentioned, let me show you what some of them actually look like in real life. So I'm going to walk you through a few of them, so you don't feel overwhelmed or confused whenever your client mentions them. Now, if you watch this course without practicing, you will not learn anything. The best way for you to benefit from this course is to practice while I'm explaining. And even if you don't have a laptop, you can still use your phone, right? Because even me, when I started offering my services as a virtual assistant, I didn't have a laptop to my name. I started with my phone. And the thing is, most of these tools that I've mentioned, most of these applications, they work on your phone. A laptop only makes it, makes things easier because of the bigger screen, the big screen, and the extra options. But please practice with me as we go, you understand? Because that is the only way you can actually learn by practicing. All right, so let's move over to my screen. And yes, some of these applications may look scary at first. I might be like, this is so hard for me to learn. But just know that once you start learning them, once you start using them, you realize that they're actually easy to use. Trust me. E.g., CRM application. The first time I used it, the first time I opened it, it was scary to me. It felt like this is too much for me to understand. But trust me, guys, after using it, it became very simple, and I even made a tutorial out of it. So what I always say is just see these applications as your Instagram, for example. At first you didn't know how to use everything. Now you can navigate everything easily, right? So that is exactly how these tools work. Just start using them, and little by little you will get better. You become a professional, right? All right, so let's move over to my screen to understand how these applications work. Okay, so this is Google Workspace, right? You can also open a new tab and see Google like this, and then you just this dotted side here, you just click on it and you see all the Google apps, right? This is Gmail, this is my account on one, this Gmail, this is YouTube, you know, everything that pertains to Google Workspace, right? So I can click it to go to my Gmail account, or I can just click on this to go to my Gmail account, right? So either ways. So the first one we are looking at is Google Documents, right? So this is Google Documents. So you just click on it and see what that looks like. Okay, so this is Google Documents, right? This is what it looks like. You can create a blank document. You can click here to create a blank document, or you can use any of these templates, right? If you click on this, you'll see that there are more templates that you can use, right? You can see this one: resume, letter, project proposal, and so on, right? So you can use these templates to do what you want to do, meeting notes, right? Okay, so let's go back. You click on blank document, and then you let's say you want to create a new document, right? Okay, so you can have Google Documents on your phone. You can also use it on your laptop. It works either ways, right? So you can click here to save, your documents, right? You just, save it with anything, right? I'm just going to save it with tutorial, right? And then you click on enter, and then it's saved like that. You understand? So very quickly, this is not a full tutorial on Google document and how to use Google document, but I'm just trying to show you what it looks like real quick. So you click on this file, you can see you can open a new document from here. You can make a copy of this document, right? So let's say you do not have like an editing what's it called, permission. Maybe someone sends you a good document and you don't have access to edit it. You can actually make a copy of the document, and then that copy that you've made, you can edit it, right? You can share it here. You can share it with others, by adding their email address and all of those things, right? You can download it, in any of these formats, right? You can rename your document, you can move it, right? So that's that. Then your Google, any document have your Google document will be going when you take your Google Drive, you will see there as long as it's under that email address of yours. You can see my Google account showing. As long as it's in that particular what's called email account, then it's definitely going to show in your Google Drive. You understand? Okay, so let's go back. So just click on this docs on to go back. Now, because it is, under one umbrella, right? If you click on this side of your Google document, you will see other Google Workspace applications like Google Sheets, right? So let's click on Google Sheets, so what that looks like. Okay, so this is what Google Sheet looks like. You see, you have templates here, and if you click on this template gallery, you see even more templates. You can use this to do your monthly budget, your to-do list, and so on, right? So I'm going to use a particular data to show you an example. Okay, so this is Google Spreadsheets. This contacts are not real, therefore it's just for the sake of the tutorial. It's demo contact, right? Okay, so it's Google Spreadsheet and even Microsoft Excel are mainly used for entering data, right? Just like we have here. You understand? If your client tell you to get the information of maybe some particular set of people, right? You put down their first name, their last name, their email address, phone number, just like it depends on what they want you to actually look for, right? And then you get the data input and already like giving you like a document of data, and they want you to like input it in a spreadsheet, right? That's data entry, you're entering data into these boxes right here, you understand? So yeah, You just put the headings, and then underneath the headings you put the data, right? Now this is a column, right? This right here is a column. It's running from top to bottom, you understand? And then this A to O is actually it it's more than that if you what's it called? If you have more to fill in. So this right here, these are rows, right? So these are your rows, right? Uh-huh. But this is column, right? Top to bottom, and then left to right are your rows. Yeah. So most of the things that you'll be doing, except if you're a data analyst, what if you're just entering data, you just need to enter a data like this. And this is not going to be a full tutorial, but I'm just going to show you a bit of what you can do with spreadsheets, right? So let's say for example you're writing let's say this is state, right? Let's say this is state. This is just an example, right? And let's say the first one is, let's say we have, let's say all of them are from Lagos State, right? And then I put Lagos. So instead of me to keep typing Lagos, I'm just going to drag my mouse like this, right? And you can see it's going to paste it right there for me. You understand? So again, if you want to delete, let's say you want to delete this column, you just click on it, double click on it like this, and you will see this option. You would right click on your keyboard, or even on your what's it called? You click on your phone. If you're using your phone, you can use spreadsheet on your phone, by the way, and you will see these options. You can delete this column. So I can just delete this column. I can just to copy this column and maybe paste it in another spreadsheet or something, right? I can just insert one column to the left or to the right, right? I can just clear it. I can just delete it. You understand? So you know, any of the options that you want. If you delete it, you can see that that column is gone. You understand? And it can be shifted like this. So let's go on. But I'm not deleting that. And you can also, let's say you have like long, you have like so many data, right? That you've put in, right? And let's say you stop at number 30, right? So let's assume that you stop at number 30, right? So instead of having your client to scroll down all the way down, you can just put this in a table format so it looks cleaner. So what you're going to just drag your mouse from the first name, right, down to this Lagos like this. So you drag it um on your data, right? And then you click on format, and then you click on convert to table, right? So it looks really neat, and it looks really, so you can see this is now table one, you understand? So let's assume that this particular data is for, if you want to put everything in one particular spreadsheet, let's assume, so you can actually create another table. You can come here and create another data on, something else. So let's say you're doing skincare. Let's say you're doing skincare brand in USA, right? Let's say that is the title of this. You can have your title here. Let's say that's the title of this purchase, skincare brand in USA, and then your client said this table one should be. You can actually edit. You can change the name. This table one should be skincare brand. You're going to like use the names of the states in USA, right? You understand? So let's say this is Texas. Let's say this is Texas, USA. Skincare brand in Texas. You understand? Then uh, the next one can be skincare brand in another state in USA. You understand? So it goes on and on like that. So you can just for you to arrange it well. You understand? And also using table, make sure it shows where the data actually ends. And it's actually a very neat way to actually submit your data entry when you are done, right? All right, so that's just a brief explanation. You can go back to YouTube to learn more, because with spreadsheets you can do way more. You understand? You can even do mathematics or using spreadsheet. We're not going to go into that for this tutorial. Okay, so clicking on the side again, you'll see Google Slide, right? So let's click on that and see what that looks like. Okay, you can click on blank presentation if you want to, do a presentation, or you can just use any of the portfolio. You can also click here, right, to see you know, templates that you can actually use. Now let's look at one of the templates, right? Um so if you have like a presentation to give, right, or to do, maybe you have a class that you want to give, or if your client asks you to prepare a presentation, you can use Google Slide for that. You understand? So you understand. So this is how it looks, right? So you can always, edit it and work around it. All right, let's look at the next one real quick. Next we're going to look at Gmail, right? Okay, this is what the Gmail looks like, right? So this is your inbox, your start messages. So maybe the messages that are really important, you can start them, you know, for your clients. This is snooze if you want to like, snooze some messages. So your where you check for your sent messages and draft and all of those things. Now for I spoke about email filtering and labeling, right? Mm-hmm. Now to label emails, if you see, I have some labels already. Look at my labels, and you can click here to see create new label. You can click it to create new label. So any message from Calendly is going to go here. You understand? So let me create a label and so you see what that looks like. So I'm going to name this LinkedIn, right? It says next label on that, so you can create a label in a label, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click on create. I'm just going to click on create, right? And if you check here, you see that's been added LinkedIn. So the label has been created, LinkedIn. So you can click on this three dotted line, right? And you can actually color this, to make it look more noticeable. You can, pick a color for this, right? You can see. Uh-huh. So these are just filters to help you filter it now. But if you want every LinkedIn messages to go here, you put your settings. So you come up here, this is your setting, right? You click on sales settings. So now you click on this filter and block addresses, right? So you can see this are my current labels. So you click on create a new filter, right? And then for this is we are creating this filter for LinkedIn. So we're going to say any messages from LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn. And then we are going to include words LinkedIn, right? So let's click on create filter, right? Now it says when a message is an exact match for a criteria, what should we do? Right? Apply the label. So we're going to choose a label. Now we're going to choose LinkedIn. Do you understand? So when a message is an exact match for our criteria, it will go to this label. You understand? We are not going to click on skip the inbox because we still want it to be shown. We still want to see it in our inbox, right? So when this message comes to this, come into our inbox, it will show in our inbox and it also goes to the label. You understand? So you can see that even from these filters here, you can actually like start some messages. So if there's a message that your client is expecting that is important and they give you like the filters for it, you can actually, you know, from this filter, you can create like a filter and then it will go to this. You click on anyone that applies to what you want and you can it will go there if you want to style it, if you want to edit it. But for now we're just talking about how to label stuff, right? So we just, you know, create filter and you can see that a label for a filter for LinkedIn that has been created, right? That's that. So any messages that come from LinkedIn will go to this label here, LinkedIn. You understand? Okay, now let me show you a label and so you see what that looks like. So you can see messages from Calendly, everything comes here. You can see. So that's just how to create like a label on Gmail, right? If you are sending, maybe you create, let's say you want to like compose a mail, right, for your clients. Why do we do this email signature? As a virtual assistant, you actually have like your own email signature, right? It's not yet fully loaded. I think I have my logo of my YouTube and my social media channels on here. It's not yet loaded. So this is like my email signature. It shows that you're a professional, you understand. It's easy to create one. I have a video on my YouTube channel to show you how to create one. So you put your subject, you put your who you are sending it to, right? And your subject of email, the body of your email, right? Then if you don't want to send immediately, let's say you want to schedule it for a later time, you can click on this and you see schedule, you click on schedule. Okay, I haven't added a recipient, so let me just use, yeah. So if you want to schedule, you can click on schedule send, and it's going to show you, you can options in time, or you can just click on select date and time, to pick when you want to schedule this, and when that time comes, it's going to send it for you automatically. You understand? All right, so that's that. You're going to look at Google Calendar very quickly. So this is Google Calendar. This is what it looks like. This you can schedule a meeting from here. You understand? You see, you can actually, when you click on this, you can see you can schedule an event, task, appointment schedule. You understand? And then you can sync it to your Google Meet, right? Google Meet or Zoom. Where the meeting will be happening. You understand? So let's create something. Let's click on create and let's see how to create an event, right? You can use this as your reminder by creating a task, and it will remind you when that time comes, right? Uh-huh. So let's say you can add guests. You can click here to add guests, right? You can see where the meeting is going to be happening. Add Google Meet video conferencing, right? Can happen on Google Meet, right? You add a location, you add description. So when you add guests and then you add your title of the event and everything, and then you click on save. More, let's see what more option is. So these are your more options, right? So if I want to add a title, you can add a title and then add description. You give them details of a summary of what the event is all about, the meeting is all about, right? And then you see your guest to receive a notification. You understand, a notification of this meeting, and also it will show in your client's calendar. Let's just pick an event so you see what it looks like. So let's say class. I'll just name it class for VAs, right? Um, I'm going to pick a date, Thursday. I'm going to change the time. 3 p.m., right? To 4 p.m. You can see it has been added to my Google Calendar already, right? All day. Let's say it's happening all day. If it's going to be happening like daily, weekly, on Thursdays, monthly, and the fourth, understand. But then I'm just going to click on all day. They can also leave it blank, right? So it's happening just by this time. It's not all day. Yeah, I can add guests. I can choose to add guests, right? I can, yeah. So people can actually join. Yeah, I'm using Google Meet just by me clicking on that, and you can copy this link and share with them, right? The Google Conference link, right? I can add a location where I want it to happen. I can add description, right? Or I can add a Google Drive attachment. You understand? So I can add description or a Google Drive attachment and I click on save. You understand? You can see that it has been saved on my Google Calendar, right? See, so I can click on it and then I invite people via link, or I can just copy the Google Meet link for them to actually join. So there will be a 30-minute reminder before this time. You understand? So these are more options. You can print this, you can, or you can even email this. You understand? You can choose to edit the event again if you want to. So this is just how to use Google Calendar and what's called and Google Meet, right? So let's move to the next one. So we're looking at Google Drive now. So Google Drive is where you actually have your files, right? And you also share files from Google Drive, right? Let's move to Microsoft 365. So this is Microsoft 365. It does similar things to Google Workspace. So I'm not going to go into it. The like I explained in the course. Just like the Google Workspace, right? Your Google Documents is just like the Microsoft Word, and your Google spreadsheet, just like your Microsoft Excel, right? And your Google Drive, just like you can see a back of your files and photos. PowerPoint is just like your Google slide, right? So yeah, I'm not going to go into this. Let's move forward real quick. Okay, so this is money.com. I've used this one before. It's a project management tool, right? I've used this one before, but I personally prefer Zoro project. Like I said, if you know how to use one, you know how to use right others, right? So you can just so let me just open my workflow. Okay, so this is where you just input like projects, right? To help you what's it called? To help you be more productive, right? See it like your reminder, your alarm, your calendar, right? So as you can see here, I have you can use it for yourself and also for your clients. So it's not just for your clients, but you can also use it for yourself to be more productive, right? Uh-huh. So I have here you can put what you want to put here, the tax that you want to put here, and then you put the person, right? The status of your tax, the date, the timeline, the priority of your tax, right? You can even add more here. You understand? This is not a full tutorial. This is just to show you what it looks like, right? Right. So this is like you can view it as a Gantt chart. You understand? This way you can see if this activity is from July to October. You understand? So it's going to show you like this on the Gantt chart. So depending on how you want to view it, right? Or you can actually just view it as a table. You can decide to add view. You can have the Kaban view. It's actually really nice. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. So the Kaban view actually gives you for me, right? You can see that this is shows what you're working on, what is, still, and what has not been done. We understand what's in stock. So, right. So, this is just to help you to track your project. You see what you started, what is not yet to be completed, what is completed, you understand, just to track the project and you know, help you stay more productive, right? Maybe later I'll do a full video on how to use it, but this is just me showing you what it looks like. You understand? Okay, so yeah, you can actually add like you can add new workspace, right? So if you want to, let's say you click on add, workspace, you give it a name, let's say you know, privacy. So you see, you can be closed. That's your personal workspace, or you can be open. Every team member in the account can join. So you can actually have a team member. You understand? So let me leave this open. So you can actually like create it on your own, or you start with the template, or you can start with AI. You understand? So you can say there are so many templates that you can actually pick from. You understand? But you as a virtual assistant, let's actually go back. You might not, if you're just starting, you might not really have so much to put in there. So you can just, create a board name and just put the privacy, select what you're managing. You understand? So let me just leave it as new board. I'm going to click on projects and create board. Right. So now you can actually fill in just like the example that I showed you, understand? You can fill in the item. Yeah, you understand? So you can write the item one, write whatever you want to, write a description on the item. You can add files. You understand? You see your activity log here. You click on this. You understand? So this is going to be people that you would assign it to, and then this is like to know where your status based on how your workflow on the item. You understand where you're working on it, whether you're done. Uh, so you can play around with all of these fields. Like I said, this is not a full tutorial. This is just me showing you what it looks like, right? So yeah. Okay, so this is what buffer looks like. This is a scheduling tool, right? So look at all channels.
You can connect your Instagram account, connect LinkedIn. Let's see all the channels that it has, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and so on, right? So like all the major platforms that you need. Excuse me. So when you connect them, you can use this to actually like schedule your. Let's click on new. So when you click on new, you can actually like you can see publish content to your channel, so you can create a post, right? So let's click on post and see what that looks like. So you can write your post or you copy and paste it here from anywhere. Copy and paste it here, right? Yes, assuming I've added in my social media channels, when I'm done creating this post, right? I can click on this to preview, right? I can add an image here, whatever image or video that I need to file that I need to drop, and then I'll be able to post it. I'll be able to post it on any of the social media channel, right? So that's just how it works. Um, but I personally use Zoho Social for my for my scheduling as my scheduling app, right? But yes, you can try this one as well. So even if you don't want to post it, you can draft it. Your draft will be saved here. You understand? And whatever you send will be saved here as well, right? Okay, so this is what Clockify looks like. This is a time tracking tool, right? For your time management. So I've used this one a lot. Um, there are others like Upstaff out there. You understand? Upstaff would track. It has a real time tracker. So like when you are clicking on the other application, it's going to be tracking it. But I like to use this one, right? If you have a strict client, you might need to use something like Upstaff, or if they recommend you using it. But this one, you can track it. You can when you start a task, you can click on start. You understand? So you're going to type what are you working on. You understand? Now I'm working on tutorials, virtual assistant. So let me just put this VA tutorial. You're right. And when I want to start working on it, I'm going to click on start. You can add what's in your project. You understand? You're going to click on start and to start time menu. And when I'm done with my VA tutorial, right, I'm going to stop. So this one, you have to be honest with it. Don't just say, okay, because it's not tracking in real time, then you're going to just click on stop whenever. No, just you have to be because your client actually didn't always know how long it has going to take you. So if you bill them more than the time um that is required, they will actually know. So you need to click on stop right now to see, and then you see it's here. It could be a tutorial. It took me. I started from this time to this time, right? And it took me 32 seconds, right? So you can click on this. You can delete it from here or not, and then you can go to reports here. You go to reports. So let's say I want to send it as a report to my clients. So if at time report, summary, detailed weekly share. So I'm going to come here. This is the calendar. I'm going to click on today, right? You understand? So yeah, you can see to show me the report of today. You understand? Okay, so before you click on this to download, you click on, you click on detailed. You how you want your reports. Make so you click on detailed report, right? Not summary, and then make sure that it says, today's date. You understand, and then just check on the filter and see. It depends on how you want to submit your report. Anyways, this is how I like to submit my own report. You understand? Uh-huh. Then I'll just click here to download it. So yeah, so this is my report. You can see it's showing the date. You understand? It's showing the date, it's showing description, duration, and my name, user. You understand? If you want, if you want to set it up in a way that it will show the amount you want to bill the person, you can set it up that way. But if you're just starting, you don't need all of that, right? The person is just interested in the time, that you spent working, and when you started the tax, you understand, and when you ended, that's what they're interested in. Now I'm going to quickly give you some bonus. When you're positioning yourself online, make sure that You have your bio, your profile picture. Make sure your profile picture looks, clear enough. Not too much makeup if you're a female, if you're a male, make sure that you wear something that looks professional. You understand that your face is clear enough, right? You have your portfolio, make sure that you have your portfolio, right? And if you want to if you want to work with a company, you don't want to be a freelance virtual assistant, when you're sending out jobs, make sure that you have a proper CV, an ATS friendly CV. You understand that you're using. If you don't have an ATS friendly CV, you can check the link in the description to get on, right? And also, you might need to write, most of the time, you need to write cover letters when you're applying for this job. You understand? Um, if you're getting the virtual assistant full toolkit, you're going to have it also comes with cover letter template to understand that you can actually use, right? Also, to get started, like even if you want to focus on applying, to companies, right? It's always good to to be on the safe side. So it's always good to put yourself out there, online out there, you understand? So whether you're applying for whether you want to be a freelance virtual assistant or not, to yourself out there. And to get started, you need to create your brand name, like I spoke about. You need to create a professional email address. What I mean by professional email address is, let's say your name is Bayo Lawal, right? You can say bayolawal@gmail.com. It's always nice not to use numbers. Don't use fineboy@gmail.com or fineboybayo@gmail.com. Try to sound professional. Your email address sound professional. You understand? And because some people actually get ignored right from when the recruiter see their email address. You understand? So please work on that. You can also create like later on you can create an email signature like I showed you in the tutorial, but it's not really important for now. If you're just starting, later on you can create it. Right, and then if you're a freelancer, you can create your booking link, right? Uh-huh. Via Calendly, you understand. You can put the booking link via Calendly where you have all the details. You can check my YouTube video to see the tutorial on that, how you can actually create your booking link and make it look professional with the right questions in it, right? You create your portfolio like I said, and then you go ahead and you create your various um platforms on your various social media channels, right? And then after creating all those channels, you know that you have to post, right? So you create your content calendar. If you're going to be purchasing, if you're going to be getting the toolkits, you're going to have like the first 30 days content calendar, right? So it shouldn't stop you to create more. So yeah. Once you do that, I'm going to be attaching a free conversational and DM script that you can actually use. So even with that, it should give you an idea on how to create your own. You understand? So yeah, that's all for this tutorial.
If you've been paying attention, you would have heard me using the word your client or your employer. So this is because there are two main ways that you can actually work as a virtual assistant. One is to offer a service as a full-time virtual assistant where you work for a company and you have like fixed working hours, like 9 to 5. You obey company policies and you cannot take up another client. You cannot do it another 9 to 5 or another task outside of that work that you're doing with the company. You understand? For this one, you would most likely see a job, maybe on one of those job boards where they say virtual administrative assistants needed, right? And then you apply for the job using your CV and maybe your portfolio. You apply for the job, maybe you send them a mail or something, or you apply via their website. You understand? You are being employed as their staff and you're working 9 to 5 or whatever hours they need you to work for. You understand? Most times is full-time work. Most times is 9 to 5, right? So you have to obey their policy. They are going to, once you're employed, maybe their HR person will have you sign. You're going to do an interview, right? Where they are going to be in charge of the call. They'll be asking you questions and you're going to be answering. Yes, you can ask them questions as well, but they're in charge of the call. You're also going to be, once you're employed, you're going to sign some some contracts with them and all of those things. Contract that has been created by them only. You are not sending them any contract that they have to sign. You understand? Now, the second way you can work as a virtual assistant is by being a freelance virtual assistant. With this one, you get to onboard your clients by yourself. You get to have discovery calls. So in this method of working as a virtual assistant, most of the time you would maybe have to look for a client, right? So this one, you can call them clients, or I call them clients. But the first one, where you have to work for a company, that is your employer. When they employ you, that is your employer. But this one is your client, whereby you have to like find them. You most of the time you find them on social media. You go to them yourself, you pitch to them, right? You pitch your services to them. Maybe you pitch via email, or you send a DM. Most of the time, DMs. I use DM a lot to pitch to my clients, and then when they agree to have a conversation with you, when they agree to your services, you tell them, okay, these are the services that I offer, and then you share your booking link with them, like I said, Calendly, or maybe you share a booking link with them and then they book a call with you. Remember, you are sharing your booking link with them, you understand? And then they book a call with you. So on that date, you are going to have what I call a discovery call with them, right? I call it discovery call because you're getting to discover each other, you understand? But during that discovery call, unlike you working for a company, you're going to be in charge of the discovery call, right? Remember, it is your booking link that you shared with them, and except if they prefer to share their own booking link, but they are the one booking a call with you. And then on that discovery call, you are in charge, you understand? Yes, they're going to ask you questions, you understand? If you're not confident enough, they might be in charge, and then later on you pick up, but as if you're just starting out anyways. But yeah, to help you know the kind of questions and the questions you're supposed to be asking and all of those things, you can check the link in the description for the virtual assistant toolkit. That is why you need to get the toolkit, so that you're not acting naive or shy, you understand? So that you can come confident, you understand? Or you can come correct when you're handling your clients, even if it's your first clients, you understand? So because most of the time you can get really shy, timid, you can even get really scared, and you're like shaking, and your clients will be the one asking all the questions, and you're not asking them any question at all. That's not good. So just go ahead and get the toolkit, and it will help you, trust me. So yeah, during the discovery call, you ask them questions. You greet them. Oh, thank you so much for being on this call with me. My name is Miriam. I've been a virtual assistant for blah 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 blah. I would like to know more of the service you want me to offer you. Of course, you guys must have spoken when you pitch your service to them, and they must have told you, these are the services I want, these are the services the tasks that I need you to carry out for me. But maybe you guys didn't go into details, you understand? That discovery call will help you go into details. You guys will talk about your almost everything, right? The tax, how your clients will tell you how they want the tax to be carried out. You will ask them if there's any other thing that they are not sharing, that it is needed for them to share. You ask them during that call, you understand, based on the tax that they want you to carry out, and based on who they are, what their business is all about, you understand? You also agree. If you've not agreed on payments when you were pitching your service during via DMs, you agree on payments right there during the discovery call. You tell your clients, okay, so maybe I charge £10 per hour or something. You understand? I'm just giving you an example, right? As a beginner, please don't charge £10 per hour. All right, so you can say, okay, I charge £3 per hour, and I can also give you like a package, right? So yeah, again, you can check the toolkit to know how to charge for your services. So yeah, you just tell them, so they'll be like, okay, can we work this or that? You understand? So you guys will just, agree, if they might tell you, okay, can you help me come up with a package that is around this budget? You understand? So if it's your first time, your first client, and you really want to keep them, you can tell them, what is your budget? Let me see if it's something I can work with, or I can create like a package for you that works for you, that works for the both of us, right? So after this discovery call, you're going to what's it called? Send them. You tell them during the discovery call. You tell them that you're going to send them your invoice, right? Which they will, where they will see your bank details that they need to pay for and the service they are paying for, the time, the hours they are paying for, and everything, right? Where ahead. So from that invoice, they can actually pick out the account number and send you your money. You understand? Also, you before during the discovery call, rather, you also tell them you'll be sending a non-disclosure contract, right? Just to, this is good to show that you're professional and that actually you're coming correct. You understand? So you tell your clients this is to protect you and also me. I'm not going to share your details with anybody. I'm a professional, but this is just to put it in writing and also for the both of us to sign so that you can hold me accountable. You understand? So after that call, you will share your the invoice and the non-disclosure contract in to your clients via their email. Do not send it to them via WhatsApp. Yes, during the discovery call, you ask them the communication channel that they're comfortable with while you're working with them. It might be WhatsApp, but even if they say WhatsApp, do not share the invoice, your first invoice, and especially the non-disclosure contract. Don't share it with them via WhatsApp, right? Package it and share it via email. And if you don't know what to write in your contract, or you don't know how to create your invoice, check the toolkit in the link. Check the link in the description to get your toolkit, and all of this will be, very easy for you. You don't need to, be overwhelmed with, oh, how do I put this together? What do I put? It has already been put together for you, right? So you don't need to go through the long process that I went through. It has already been put together for you. So just go ahead and check the description and get your toolkit. Okay. And yes, working as a freelance virtual assistant, you can work with multiple clients. You can control your time, like I said, your policies. You can work on contract or hourly basis. You understand? And working with multiple clients, what I advise you. So let's say your first client, you are working for 3 hours. Your next client, you're working for another 3 hours, and then you have a third client, you're working for another 3 hours. Do not overwhelm yourself. Take what you can handle. You understand? So always take up what you can handle so that you can give your best to your clients, right? So yeah, the perks of working as a freelance virtual assistant is that you can work with multiple clients and you can make more money. So yeah, that works. And one thing I will advise you again, a bonus that I'm going to give you is if you want to work with multiple clients and you know you cannot handle them and you're already somebody that you already have the experience, right? And you are also discipline and diligence, very important. I know why I said so. You can delegate, right? So you can actually be working with 3 4 clients and delegate some of the responsibility to another personal assistant. You understand? Or another someone that can do those tasks, right? But you have to monitor them. You have to make sure that, and don't share when you're doing this, don't share your client's confidential information, your client's personal stuff. Do not share. So you have to know how to manage it well in a way that it will not come back at you, that it will not affect you, right? So yeah, you can take up 4 different clients work and you can still be fine, right? You can handle them because you're working virtually anyways. As long as you deliver, you are good. So yeah, like I said earlier, most of the time you get your jobs via social media platforms, Fiverr, Upwork, or any of these freelance platform out there. So yeah, you can decide what part actually favors you if you want to start your journey as a virtual assistant, right? And yeah, like I said earlier, I know that when you're just starting out, there are things that you might struggle with, like onboarding questions, discovery call questions, emails, contracts. These are things that people actually struggle with from the beginning, at the beginning when you're just starting. And that is the reason why I created my virtual assistant toolkit. So you don't have to, figure all of this from scratch like I did. So go ahead and get yours. Click the link in the description and it will take you to where you can get your virtual assistant toolkit. All right. So another very important aspect we're going to talk about is building your professional presence, your online presence. Now, whether you want to work as a freelance or you want to work as with a company, you must be able to build your professional online presence. You must have a professional online presence, and this includes you creating your social media profile, whether on Twitter, which is now X, or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, right? You also need to have a brand out there, which is designing your logo, your brand colors, your font, using you can use Canva, right? It's easy to use to design all of these things. If you don't have a logo, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to start with a logo, right? You can come up with a logo as time goes on. But in order for you to have this brand voice, in order for people to see your brand and be like, oh, this is virtual Miss Miriam, you have to have a brand tone, a brand voice, right? If you're posting on somewhere like Instagram, right? um and people come across your layout, they should be able to tell that, okay, this there's actually a synergy to it, you understand? So you need to pick a brand color, you need to pick the kind of font you want to be using for your posts. So those posts that you put out there on your Instagram page, it needs to rhyme, if that makes sense, you understand? So you pick the brand colors, you can pick 3 or 4 different colors that you want. Maybe a color for the body of the text, a color for titles, and then subheadings or your brand name, you understand? So maybe 3 colors is 3 or 4 colors is fine. You don't do too much, you understand? So colors that actually blend with each other, you can pick those as your brand colors, and then you also pick 2 or 3 different brand fonts that you can use for your brand, you understand? And then you can use them to create designs on places like Canva, right? And also take note to keep your tone professional but also friendly. And then you can post useful and relatable content. You can talk about your service, your journey, on on your social media platforms, you understand? So you don't need to, if you're just starting out, I don't advise you, if you're just starting out, I don't advise you to always talk about, oh, these are the services I'm offering. You don't need to, you want to offer value, right? People are more attracted to value. So for places like, I'm going to be talking about each and every platform briefly, right? But in my toolkit, I arrange them according to platforms, like what you can actually post according to each platforms. So for the sake of this course, I'm going to talk about them briefly. Now, let's start with Instagram. For Instagram, you're posting a lot of picture images, right? Images. And on those images, now when you just open your Instagram page, you can start by introducing yourself and what you do, the services that you offer, right? You can even have them as pin posts, right? Then you can now post valuable stuff. You can continue by posting valuable stuffs, right? Now, what I advise you to also do so that you can actually manage your time and have direction is for you to come up with a content calendar for the first month on for your social media channels: Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and maybe TikTok. If you're just starting, you might just dial down on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, right? And maybe Facebook. Now, what you can do is to come up with a content calendar that you can repurpose for each of them, each of those platforms. So, for example, if you're posting something on Instagram as an image, you can repurpose it and post it as a text on Twitter, because text do better on Twitter. You post it as a tweet, right? So if you're creating an image that says Happy New Month for Instagram, you can carry it as a text. You don't necessarily have to post it as an image on Twitter. It's better you post it as a text. You can put Happy New Month X on Twitter as a tweet. Now for Facebook, you can post it as an image, but you can also write a short write up based on the happy new month. It can be like happy new month. Last month was filled with me gaining more experience, gaining more skills. I took a course on blah 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 on how to become a virtual assistant, and now I'm ready to offer my this month. I'm ready to start put myself out there and offer my service as a virtual assistant. Happy new month, guys. What was your achievement last month? You understand? Just to help people engage. Now this is just a rough example coming out from my head, right? But you can just package it properly. Now the next one, that was Facebook, right? On LinkedIn. Now stuff that go on Facebook can also be forwarded to your LinkedIn, because it needs some kind of Facebook and LinkedIn needs images and storytelling. So you can forward that one that you posted on Facebook to your LinkedIn. Do you understand? Now for your Instagram, the caption can be what you used for your Facebook and your LinkedIn. So you understand. So you see how it all merged together. So when you're writing your content calendar, even when you're writing content calendars for your clients, I advise you for you to be, for it to look detailed and not confusing. You're going to write, for example, let's say your first day starts Monday. You're going to write Monday. You're going to write the date. You're going to write what social media platform. If, for example, Instagram, you're going to put the graphics there. If the graphic is not already there and you want to use like an idea of the graphics, if the idea is coming from somewhere, from a particular link, you copy the link and drop it there. Idea of graphics, right? You put it there. So that even if that client, or if you want to get, or if let's say it's for a client and the client wants to get a graphic designer, the client has a graphic designer, the graphic designer can click on that link and see the idea of the graphics, and they can design based on that link that you shared. You understand? So you see how detailed, it's going to be. Then next thing is to what's it called, include caption. You include caption. The next thing, you include hashtag. So you put hashtag dot dot, you write the hashtags, right? You understand? You put time of post, time that you're supposed to post it. So if you need to schedule it, you know that okay, this is the time that it needs to go out. You understand? The necessary details, you put it there and you arrange it like that. For tweets, you write Twitter and you write the tweet out. You understand? Time of post, you put it there. You understand? So that makes your work very detailed, and it helps you not to feel overwhelmed and confused. You understand? So, like I said, after introducing yourself on those social media platforms and then you talk about the services that you're offering, the next thing is for you to provide value. And for places like Instagram, you have to like talk about, you know, things that will benefit your potential client. You understand? So values that will benefit your potential client. You understand? For places like Twitter, right? For places like Twitter, you need to okay, let me finish with Instagram. For places like Instagram, you talk about value that will benefit your clients, and then you also share some relatable posts as well. And then some of the time you can actually add like funny posts. You understand? You can add like memes and just put in some nice captions there and add some, what's it called, some background music, right? And most importantly, on for places like Instagram, I would strongly advise you to look out for your competitors, right? Or see them as mentors, not really competitors, right? Check, if you go to your explore page, search virtual assistants, right? If your target are international clients, look for virtual assistants that are not from your, your virtual assistant that are closely related to your internet to the international clients you are looking for. You understand? When I started, I was looking at, there was this particular coach, virtual assistant coach at the time that I used, like I based my most of the things I learned from, so I followed, I saw the way she posted and everything. Everything was looking really nice and very, very professional. You understand? So try your best to find, you see the way people, on Instagram, you post a lot of you posting carousels, you will see how your design should actually look like. You understand? So all of these things, and then you trust Instagram. When you search for one of those things, they'll keep giving you all of those things. They'll keep giving you more of the things kind of things that you search for. So you search for virtual assistants, you follow the virtual assistants that are already, doing so well in the game. You search for how to write carousels, you search for how to become a social media manager, you search for things that relate to what you are doing, you understand, just to help you improve how you post, how you create content so that it looks, presentable, it looks good to the eye, you understand. And by the time you check your Instagram layout, you see that it is actually looking good. You understand? You can't be a social media manager and your Instagram layout is not looking good. Mm-mm-mm-mm. That is a red flag. Or you just see virtual assistant and your social media is not looking good. It has to look good. You understand? I'm not saying that you should bombard colors. No, minimal, being minimal is the best. Like if your colors should not be too loud, except you know how to balance it, right? So yeah, just start simple. Hmm? Now Twitter, for your Twitter, I advise you to you can check the link in the description to see my Twitter, what's it called? My Twitter page. For Instagram, my Instagram is not really active for now, so I can't really say you should check mine. Yeah, so you can check others. But for Twitter, you can check mine. You can scroll down to see how I started, you understand. Introduce yourself, tell people the services that you're offering, and then share. Twitter has to do with mostly relatable posts, relatable tweets, something that people can actually engage with. You understand? Again, in the toolkit, I listed, how you can actually tweet and what you can tweet for a start, right? When you're just starting. So yeah, for Twitter, you can, follow people that if you want an international client, follow those international clients, right? Look at how they tweet, understand their culture from how they tweet, how people respond, go to the comment section, right, and see how people respond to those tweets. And from there, you will pick up, you will start learning, okay, these are the kind of things that people want to see. You understand? For Twitter, we have thought-provoking posts, thought-provoking tweets rather, we have checking up tweets, we have tweets that talks about your services, you understand, but most of the time you're posting relatable tweets, you understand, and also sharing valuable tweets as well, because you want people to engage. You don't just want to be tweeting and people are not engaging with your stuff, you understand. You want people to engage with your tweet, but for people to engage with your tweet, you have to engage back. In fact, for all of the platforms, you need to engage with people before they can engage with you. You understand? It's tit for tat, right? But yeah, make sure that you put valuable stuff out there, right? And what applies to Instagram also applies to Facebook and LinkedIn as well, like I've explained earlier. LinkedIn, you need to provide a lot of value. You need to provide a lot of value. You need to talk about your services. You need to talk about you. You need to talk about things that relate to you, things that you believe in, right? I'm not talking about religion. You understand? You remember you are a professional, you are a virtual assistant, right? So put that out first, right? So things that you believe in, story, you can put, storytelling in it. Facebook thrives with storytelling as well, and add your professional pictures there too, or your experience with the clients and all of those things, what you've learned so far as you know while working as a virtual assistant, or what you learned while taking up a virtual assistant course, or talk about a book that motivates you, or someone that motivates you, or something that happened to you when you went for a meeting or something, or just share things that people want to engage with, share value. Okay, these are the top tools that I use that help me, blah 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 blah. You understand? Yeah, so that's that. It is also important for you to take note that whatever you're posting on all your social media platform, it needs to, rhyme. It needs to sound like you. You understand? It needs to sound like your brand. You're trying to build a brand, right? You want people to know you. So you don't want to have a different you on Facebook, a different you on LinkedIn, different you on what's it called, Instagram. Let everything mix together. That's why you need to have your brand colors, your brand fonts, your, I know Twitter, you are tweeting, you don't really have, you're not using like brand fonts or brand colors. Yes, I know, but let your write-up sound like, let it sound like you understand. Your write-up on LinkedIn, I mean on Twitter, let it sound like your write-up on every other social media platforms. You understand? Let them have like some kind of your bio when you your bio that you write on your social media pages, let them have like a resemblance to it, you understand? So try your best to maintain the same brand tone on every of your social media platform so it doesn't confuse your clients, most importantly your clients, right? Because that is the end goal at the end of the day, right? Also, when you are posting, for a start, you can choose to do you, but the major thing is for you to be consistent. You understand? um you have to be posting. If you choose to be posting 3 times in a day on Twitter, you should be tweeting 3 times a day on Twitter. Be consistent with it. If you I tell people, if you want to get a client and you are disciplined, right? I'm still going to talk about how to get a client, but if you want to get a client and you're disciplined, you are serious about it, dedicate 30 days, 30 days of consistency, right? If you need an accountability partner, you need someone to hold your hands while you're doing this, you can check the link in the description for my community. You can join there and you can get yourself an accountability partner that will help you, because I know building consistency is not easy, right? So you can actually dedicate 30 days and say, okay, these 30 days I want to put myself out there as a virtual assistant. I've learned the skills, I've taken this course, I'm ready to, I've learned the tools I need to learn and I'm ready to start, right? You create your social media pages and then you're ready to start creating content. You give yourself 30 days and you start creating content, you start giving out value. You use the toolkits that you've gotten and then you know, you post, let's say you're tweeting on Twitter every 3 days. I mean, 3 times in a day, right? And you're engaging with people's posts, you are doing all the things that are necessary that I'll still talk about in this course. And then on your Instagram, you're posting every day, right? Monday to maybe Friday or Saturday. Your LinkedIn, you're also posting every day. You do not need to overwhelm yourself. You can use those scheduling tools that I spoke about. There are also some free ones out there. So go online and search for free scheduling tools. Like they might limit you to not be able to schedule for more than 3 days ahead, but it's still something that will help you to not be too overwhelmed. You understand? Others will need you to pay, like Zoho Social, they'll need you to pay, right? So if you can afford it, why not? It's always good to invest in your success, right? So yeah, dedicate that 30 days and then push and you see that you get your result, right? Now, another important thing that you need to know that you need to do is to create a portfolio, right? You need a portfolio. Now, if you might be wondering, how do I create a portfolio when I do not have anything to put in it? When I'm just starting? Yeah, I know you're just starting, and if you want to, I think I made a video on how you can actually create a portfolio as a virtual assistant that's just starting out, but for the sake of this course I'll talk about it briefly. You can if you're just starting out now, let's say you're done watching this course, you've practiced, you've learned the tools, now it's time for you to practice with the clients, right? So what I advise you to do is to go for internship. You can do like a 3 month internship, you can do a 1 month internship. If you are very confident in yourself, do not lie to yourself, do not deceive yourself. If you know that, okay, this is something that I can actually do, right? You're confident in yourself, you can go for a 1 month internship, right? Or you can just volunteer to work with somebody, right, that would give you good feedback. No, I didn't say that right. Somebody that would give you a feedback that is not sugar coated. You understand? So it could be a family member, an uncle, auntie, or someone that you look up to, you know, that has a business or something that they are running, and you know that they might need a virtual assistant, and you just reach out to them. Okay, I would like to assist you for 1 month. I just finished a course and I want to start offering my services as a virtual assistant. But before that, I want to see how good I am. You understand? And by the end of the day, don't give your feedback and make sure that you take it serious. Don't say because you are not being paid. And yes, you can also get some paid internship roles. There are some paid ones out there. You understand? But do not focus on the money yet. Remember, you have to give value before you start making money. So yes, take up that your internship or your volunteer work very serious. Take it as if they are a real client that will pay you good money. Take it serious and do it diligently the way you handle a real client's work. Or if you cannot go ahead, if you cannot get a real client and you're a very disciplined person, like you're serious, what you can do is to create a fake client, right? So you can, let's say you want to be a social media manager, you can choose to open a new Instagram account, and then you give it a brand name, give it a, assume it's a business, give it a business and everything, and then you start creating content for that social media page, right? You start creating content, you start growing the page, start engaging with people, maybe give it like a month, you understand? So what you've done working on that particular page, right, as a social media manager for that fake client, right, is what you will now take screenshots of, you take a record of and put in your portfolio. Same way, if you're working as an intern or you're doing volunteer work, what you've done so far is what you will now put in your portfolio. You understand, as a beginner. So that gives you a portfolio even as a beginner. You understand, right? So also, if you don't know how to go about writing your portfolio or curating your portfolio, don't know the right things to put in there, you can check the link in the description to get your toolkit. There are portfolio templates that you can actually start using right away. You understand? Just need to put some little, replace some placeholders, and you can start using them. You can also go on Canva and just search portfolio templates. Just search portfolio, and you will see lots of templates that you can actually edit, right? But if you cannot go through the whole, if you don't know the right things to put, because you will not see virtual assistant portfolio on Canva. You will not see like one dedicated to virtual assistants. So to have one dedicated to you as a virtual assistant, you can check the toolkit to get your portfolio template, so it does not delay you on, so you're not delayed because you have to create a portfolio, right? Now, when it comes to communicating with your clients, especially when you're working with international clients, you need to understand their culture. You need to understand how you can actually like greet them. When I mean greet them, your I'm from Nigeria, so when you are, most Nigerians, like you to say, we like to use Mr. or Sir, right? Or Ma. But most of this, from my experience, most of these international clients do not want you to use that. They want you to, most of the times, they want you to address them with their first name. So if you're unsure on how to address your clients or your employer, you can ask them, you can politely ask them, how would you like me to address you? Are you comfortable addressing you with your first name? You understand? So but if you are sure, just go ahead and address them with their first name. You might have international clients that are actually Nigerians, right? Nigerians based abroad. Let's say you're a Nigerian and you are working with a client that is based abroad and is also a Nigerian. They might want you to address them as Sir or Ma. So just for you not to offend your clients or offend anyone or your employer, please ask if you're unsure. Now, for the most important section, which is how you can actually find clients, how you can get jobs and start working as a virtual assistant. So you can go on places like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, freelance platforms. You can do DM and email outreach. I've explained this in my other YouTube videos. You can check them out. But yeah, all of those places that I've mentioned and what I've explained earlier, you can go on social media channels and actually like find clients. And if you're looking for a job, you want to work with a company as a virtual assistant, you can go on job boards. I'm going to be sharing a link where you can actually find them in the description. So just check the link out to get more details on the job boards you can go to find employers, to find jobs, and also the platforms that you can actually go to find your clients if you want to offer your service as a freelance virtual assistant. You can also use DM and email outreach, right? This is a process whereby you, like I explained earlier, but to elaborate on it, this is a process whereby you let me use Twitter for an example. You go to your potential clients profile, right? You open up their profile and then you respond to their tweets. You target the first the most recent three tweets. You comment, you drop comments on each and every one of them you like, and then you follow them. You're doing this to gain their attention, to get their attention, you understand? So you can do this for like 2 days and then you follow them, right? And then when you follow them, you send them a DM. right? You send them a friendly DM. You can send them a one DM script, or you do what I call a conversational DM, right? Conversational DM is a process whereby you try to build conversation. So you say hi to your potential clients at the time, and then they respond back, oh hi, I'm a new follower, I saw your tweet and it really resonated with me, so I decided to, I decided to follow and also send the DM. How has business been? You understand. So you're going to respond and you keep building conversations, you understand, until get to a point where you can actually ask about their business or ask about something particular about their business or their work, and they tell you, ask about something that is lacking about their business, and they tell you, okay, oh, I'm struggling to keep up with responding to my tweets, or I'm struggling to keep up with my social media channel, and then you tell them okay, and then you pitch. So you have like that grace, or what do I call it, that you have that moment to actually pitch your service. So that is you. If you have that time to build that conversation, it's always good to get clients this particular way, you understand. But you need to put in the work, you understand. It requires work, and it might take days. Now another way is for you to send a 1 DM script. 1 DM script is process whereby after getting their attention by commenting and also liking their posts and also following them, you just drop it, the 1 DM script, and be like, hi, my name is, for example, my name is Miriam, I'm a virtual assistant. I can help you handle, I can see that you're a business owner, and I understand that it might be difficult for you to show up on blah 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 blah, or it might be difficult for you to handle your social media channel. I can do that for you, and this is what I charge. And we can also discuss about your budget or something, you understand. So this is just an example. You can come up with a better script, right? Or you can also check the link in the description to get the toolkit. There are scripts written there for you to use, ready for you to use, right? So you just send it to them at once, and if they're interested, they're going to read it and get back to you. It has worked. Both have actually worked for me, so I can't really say don't do this one. Both of them actually work. Depends on who you are sending it to. You understand? So yeah. Now, other things I'm going to explain are contracts, your non-disclosure contract that you're sending to your clients. I always advise upcoming virtual assistants, before you take up a client's work, make sure that you agree on payment, make sure that you both sign a non-disclosure agreement, right? Where you list out all the things that you've agreed to do with the client, your payments method, your working hours, you understand, the tasks that you've been assigned to do and how you intend to carry them, you understand. You also need to make sure that you send an invoice. You need to make sure that to protect yourself, especially if you're offering your service as a freelance virtual assistant, you understand, that's where you have to send a contract, right? And that's when you need to send an invoice. So you need to, if you're a freelance virtual assistant, you need to make sure that their client of yours pays at least a percentage of the agreed amount, you understand. If they can pay 50% before the work starts, or 10%, 30%, before the work starts, just for you to be sure that okay, you know they are for real, you understand. If they are not willing to pay you anything and they are like, oh, just start, I'm going to pay you after the job is done, please advise you not to take up that work. I know you really want to start working, but please advise you not to take up that work, because you can actually finish doing the work and send it to them, and that's it, they are gone. You're not going to see anything, you understand. So, or if there's a way you can actually do the work and send them like a screenshot of it, not the final thing itself, and you know ask them to pay before you send the real thing, that works. But sometimes they might actually still ghost you, and you will have actually lost, based on the fact that you put in so much time to actually get the work done. So please always request for a part payment and include it in your contract. Talk about it during your discovery call, you understand, before you agree in starting that job or that tax. If you do not know how to search online for your potential clients, you can use filters, you can use hashtags. Go to the search bar of any social media platform and just type what you know your clients will actually put out there if they're looking for virtual assistants. You can type busy, you can type delegate, you can type virtual assistant itself, you can type founders, you can type business owners, and you just search through and you will see, who you can actually message. And please take note, there are a lot of scammers out there. Please always make sure that you check the profile and see their bio, read their bio and understand, does this person have a business, or do they look like a professional person? Check what they put out there and see, does it look legit? You understand? Most of the time, if they are legit, you will see a link to their business, or if they are a SaaS founder, you will see a link to their product, right? So you know that, okay, this person is someone that has a legit business and it looks like someone that can pay me. You understand? Because there are a lot of scammers out there, right? In the toolkit, I listed the things that you can watch out for to get scam, because a lot of people have gotten scam in this journey. So please be careful and also watch out. Now, when it comes to receiving payments, right? Let's say you're working from Nigeria and you're working with a client from UK. There are several payment platforms that you can actually use to receive payments. We have TransferWise, we have Lemfi, we have Sendwave. I'm going to be adding a link to the description so that you can know which one to use. I'm also going to be creating a video to explain them one after the other, the payment options and which one works better. But for the sake of this course, if you are a freelance virtual assistant, right, you most likely provide your payments. You send an invoice and you provide your payment method that suits you. So if you're working with clients from I think US, Canada, UK, you can use payment method like Lemfi. You can use TransferWise if you're working with a wider audience, maybe from clients from like Australia. You can use Sendwave also. Then we also have Pioneer, and all of those, and then others that I'll be listing in the description, right? So after you've secured your potential clients, you book a discovery call with the client, or they book a call with you. Rather, you send your Calendly link, and then you agree on a date and time, and then you show up for the call. Now, during this call, you're going to talk about some necessary things, like I explained earlier. You're going to explain the tasks that they want you to do. You're going to ask them some particular questions, and the client is also going to ask you some questions. You understand? So this is where you get to understand each other. You understand? So if the client is satisfied with you, most times they'll let you know right there on the call. There's not going to be any drag or anything. And sometimes they might also tell you, oh, I'll get back to you later. But usually they will let you know immediately if they are satisfied and confident with the way you handle the call, and if they are confident in the fact that you can actually carry out their task. So that discovery call is where, yes, you are typing. It is easier to type and sound confident, because now you can use AI to just type and actually sound like you know your stuff. But when it comes face to face to talking to a client, you have to, if you sound differently from how you sounded during when you were typing and sending them DMs, and they don't feel confident that, oh, this person can handle the tax, they would not want to hire you. You understand? As their virtual assistant. So yes, you need to come correct. You need to try your best. Even if it's your first client, just see them as the friend next door, right? And just talk. You understand? Take your time to. I remember my first client, I took my time to study my script. I already made out a script of what it would most likely ask me. You understand? Yes, you could tell that that was my first time, but I knew my stuff. The most important thing is to know your stuff. Let them know that you can handle the tax. Yes, you might be like when you're talking, but at least you are talking. You are saying what you can actually offer. You understand? There's that confidence that, oh, I know my stuff. You understand? I can do this tax for you. You don't need to worry. This is something that I can do properly. You understand? So yeah, if you need help with what to ask, again, like I said, check the toolkit. to get that figured out. If you haven't agreed on payment before the call, make sure that you do that during the call, right? And a nice thing to do is after the call, you should send a polite follow-up message, like a thank you message. You can send it through the platform that you originally contacted them from, or preferably it's better you send it via email, because you already have their email because they book a call with you, right? So you just send it via email and be like, oh, thank you for your time, I look forward to working with you, or thank you for your time, here is the invoice and here is the non-disclosure contract, something like that. You understand? Just to show that you appreciate the time that they've taken out to have that call with you. You understand? Now again, let's say your start date is like 2 weeks away, so a week before or so, maybe 3 days before that day, you can send a message, not necessarily a reminder, but a message that shows that you haven't forgotten them, or you haven't forgotten the task or what you guys have discussed, and you're looking forward to starting. You understand? So this helps to actually build trust, and it makes the client look forward to working with you. You understand? Also, when you start working with this client, you have to communicate on a daily basis, like I've explained earlier. And also, before the work begins, you should already know the platform that your client wants you to communicate with him or her on. You understand? For example, your clients may prefer WhatsApp or email or Slack or even Twitter or any other platform that you actually found them on. You understand? So your clients will let you know what they are comfortable with, and that becomes your main communication channel with your client. That is where you will send your daily updates to them, your reports will be sent there, your work conversation, the conversations you're going to be having while speaking or while working with your clients rather, is going to be happening right there on that platform, right? Another thing I want to talk about is using AI as a virtual assistant. AI can save you so much time. It can help you to automate your tasks, and a lot of other things. So I'm going to do a video on how to use AI as a virtual assistant, but for the sake of this course, I'm just going to talk about it very briefly. So for beginners here, I've had some students struggle with this. So if your client asks you, for example, because you don't really know, you've not had conversations with these clients before, and because they're international clients, I've told you to see them as your friend. You could see them as your friend. Don't be scared of answering their question, but don't just answer with one line answer. You understand? So for example, if they say, okay, what is your rate? Don't just reply with, my rate is $5 per hour. You have to write it professionally, and you can use ChatGPT AI where needed to actually respond and then sound confident. And yes, even if you're using ChatGPT, sometimes it can give you like unnecessarily long answer, you understand, and you might not need all of that, and you don't want to sound robotic when you are responding to this your clients. You understand? So you have to, like I said, I'll be doing a video on how to use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant. So very quickly, what you can do if you're being asked that kind of question, you go on your ChatGPT and you be like, you talk to ChatGPT. Always see it as for me, you can use the voice function and be like, okay, hi, my name is Miriam. I'm a virtual assistant. I recently took a course, as a virtual assistant, and I've started, putting myself out there, and now I want to offer my service as a virtual assistant, and I have a potential client that is asking me what my rate is. So I'm a virtual assistant that is focused on offering my services as an admin and social media manager, right? And I have a client that I'm hoping to manage this tax for. You list the tax, and my rate is actually $5 per hour, but I don't know how to put it. Can you help me out? You understand? ChatGPT would come up with a script for you. Read it. Those the hyphen that comes with ChatGPT written scripts. Take it out. Read what it has given you. Edit where you need to edit. If it is too much, shorten it. Let it sound like you. You understand? If you're someone that has been using ChatGPT for a while, it's going to understand your tone and your preference, and then it will give you something that actually sounds like you. But you can always edit it and make it short and simple, and then you send it to your client. All of what I've said should not take you more than 2 minutes, because when a client asks those kind of questions, when a potential client asks those kind of questions, they expect you to respond to them fast. Now if they ask you the question around 3:21 p.m. and you respond the next day, that's not good. To me, if it's me, I'll feel like, oh, maybe this person is a scam. You understand? Because you have to think so much about it. It's a very simple question, like, what is your rate? What do you charge? You understand? You understand? So it's something that you should actually even know. You understand? Back when I started my journey as a virtual assistant, I had scripts for everything, right? I took my time. It took me so much time, to put together all of the scripts for everything so that I don't have to think too much. There was no ChatGPT then. So I had to write script for everything, question and answer for any, and each potential client I come across, if I flop with one, I'm going to learn why I flopped, and then I'm going to do better in the next one. But you don't have to do that. That is why you have the toolkit to help you do all of this, faster and shorter. The shortcuts for you. You don't have to go through the stress I went through, to put all of these things together, from scratch. That is why I've, put everything together for you. So just um get the toolkit and life will be much easier for you as virtual assistant. Trust me. So yeah, just think of this toolkit as, when you're starting school, you don't just show up without a school bag, your notebook, your pen, your shoes. You need your basic tools, you understand? So this toolkit is the same thing like as that, But for your virtual assistant journey, inside this toolkit, you'll find portfolio templates, like I explained earlier, your invoice templates, your contract templates, very important, discovery call questions, your client onboarding questions, your email and DM scripts that you'll be sending out, your first 30-day content ideas. So you don't even need to think about content. It has been curated for you, right? And it will help you to be able to create more content, your guide on how to practice your services, and so much more. You understand? So just see it as your what you need to start. You understand? So as a virtual assistant, your get is it get ready with me to school kit. So yeah, go ahead and grab it in the description and thank me later. Like I said earlier, when I started, I didn't have all of this. I had to put them together one after the other, and it took me time to start my virtual assistant journey because I had to put all of this together. You understand? And I had to make a lot of mistakes. You understand? I'm not saying that you're not going to make mistakes, right? You learn from your mistakes, right? But in order for you to, have like a shortcut, it's better for you to get this toolkit, you understand? And once you purchase it, a bonus that comes with it is that you can DM me for free for the first 2 weeks after purchasing your toolkit. You can message me about questions that relates to getting clients, how you can improve your profile, and just general questions about your virtual assistant journey. Yeah, take note that this support is for only those that buy the toolkits. And of course, if you can afford data to watch this course till the end, then you should be able to afford the toolkit. Even if you have to be saving, every day, even if you have to be saving every day, bit by bit, you can send me a DM and be like, okay, I want to pay gradually or something, or you want to save up. You can save up and actually get this toolkit. Trust me, you would be glad that you got it. If you're serious about starting your journey as a virtual assistant, I would advise you to get it. This is for only those that are serious about starting as a virtual assistant. And take note that you have to invest, right? Whether you're investing in a toolkit or you're investing in one of those applications that will help your life to be easier. You understand? Just like investing in a scheduling tool, for an example, just to make your life easier. You understand? Any which way you have to invest. You cannot be expecting things to be free all the time if you really want to grow. You understand? And you see that when you give yourself that 30 days, right, that I spoke about, and you start getting clients, the money will not be anything compared to the toolkit that you got, right? Will not be anything compared to the amount you're paying for a toolkit, right? Or anything compared to the data that you bought to watch this course, right? So be ready to invest if you want to grow, be ready to learn, and be ready to practice. And yes, if you cannot afford the toolkit, if you truly cannot afford the toolkit, then I advise you can do what I did. And also, it's just that it's going to take your time, you understand, to put all of these things together, watch more videos, and get better day by day, right? And you see that with time, you will get there. So I'm going to advise you guys, do not rush this course. Take your time, practice, learn, practice. If you need to watch it in bits, if you need to watch it over and over again, please do, and practice. If you need to take down notes, it's always good to write. It's help you retain what you've learned better. do what works for you, and practice as you go. Trust me, this is a profitable journey to embark on. And working from home and also earning, especially when you're working with international clients, check out the exchange rate. If you're working with a client from a place like let's say UK, and you're receiving pounds, and let's say you're from Nigeria, the exchange rate is actually very encouraging. You understand? Even if you're collecting £200 in a month from that client, or I don't know, based on your agreement on how many hours you want to work with them, or how many days in a week or in a month. If you're collecting £200, convert that to your Nigerian naira or to your currency. You can see the difference. It's encouraging enough to want to embark on this journey. And if you're a student, or you are maybe a recent graduate, it's something good. And before you know, you improve your skills, and you can take up higher niches that will bring you bigger pays, right? So yeah, I would encourage you to take this seriously and actually give it what it takes. I created this course because I know how hard starting felt for me. And if you're ready to learn and put in the work, this part can truly work for you. So I truly hope you found this video helpful. I truly hope you found this course helpful. And if you did, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Also drop a comment, like this video and share it with somebody. Do not hoard information. Don't keep information to yourself. If you have a friend, a brother, a sibling out there that that would find this course helpful, share it with them. And yeah, that'll be all for now. If you need me to create a part two of this course, maybe there are some things that I have not touched, I have not spoken about, let me know in the comment section. And yes, if you need a community that would help you to stay consistent, a community to motivate you, you can check the link in the description to join my community. We also share job posts on there, so you can check the link in the description to to join. Yeah, so yeah, thank you very much. And do not forget to get your toolkit. Remember that you need it if you want to start ASAP in this journey. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.